calamitous season hit a desperate new low as goalkeeper Antonin Kinski was taken off after only 17 minutes in a humbling 5-2 Champions League defeat at Atletico Madrid. Kinski, who came in for Guillermo Vicario, twice lost his footing to give goals to Marcos Llorente and Julian Alvarez, after which he was taken off by interim head coach Igor Tudor. In between, Mickey van der Ven also slipped to allow Anton Griezmann to score before Robin Normand at a fourth after only 23 minutes of some of the most remarkable Champions League action of recent times. Pedro Porro's goal was only an interruption as Alvarez added his second 10 minutes after the break, although Tottenham did get a late goal back through Dominic Solanke. They're 5-2 down heading into their second leg, while Liverpool are also trailing, having lost at 1-0 away at Galatasaray. It was a tough time for Newcastle as they drew 1-0 with Barcelona. Lamine Yamal slotted a stoppage time penalty, while in the night's other match, Bayern Munich won 6-1 at Atalanta. There are 4 more Champions League last 16 at times this evening, with Arsenal at Bayer Leverkusen at 5:45, and at 8 o'clock Bodo Glimt hosting Sporting, Paris Saint-Germain hosting Chelsea, and Manchester City away at Real Madrid. Another piece of football news now. Wrexham striker Kiefer Moore is a big doubt for Wales' upcoming World Cup playoff campaign, according to Phil Parkinson. The striker came off in the Red Dragons' 4-2 FA Cup 5th round loss to Chelsea on Saturday. The 33-year-old, who is the club's top scorer this season with 13 goals, was omitted from the squad for his side's 2-1 defeat by Hull City last night, after it's confirmed he had suffered a tendon split. And Parkinson says the 52-cap Welsh international could miss their playoff campaign later this month. Reviewing now, and Steve Borthwick believes the expectations, scrutiny and pressure playing for England has got to his players during their 3-match losing run. After winning 11 matches in a row coming into the Six Nations, defeats by Scotland, Ireland and Italy have wrecked any possibility of an England title bid. The pressure of expectations a problem Borthwick has identified before in his 3-year reign as head coach, and he believes is getting to his players. Golf now, and Scottish Shepherds hit back at suggestions about a supposed slump in form to start 2026 as the World #1 looks to win the Players' Championship for a 3rd time in 4 years. Were he to be successful around Sawgrass again this week, Sheffield would join Jack Nicklaus as the only 3-time winner of the event. But a tied 24th finish at the Isle of Palm Invitational on Sunday marked Sheffield's worst PGA Tour result in 13 months, as he ranked 44th in the field for the week in strokes gained approach, his worst in any 72-hole PGA Tour event for 4 years. Speaking ahead of the players, where he partners Tommy Fleetwood and Justin Thomas in the opening 2 rounds, Sheffield defended his form in 2026, adding, "I'm always my own biggest critic." Finally, don't forget it's another big day of racing on the second day of the Cheltenham Festival, with 7 contests starting with the Turners Novices Hurdle at 1:20. The Queen Mother Champion Chase highlights the card at 4 o'clock, which runs through to the Champion Bumper at 5:20. That's all for now, we'll have more later. These are your late sports headlines. I'm Jack Ogleby. We start with football, and Tottenham's calamitous season hit a desperate new low as goalkeeper Antonin Kinski was taken off after only 17 minutes in a humbling 5-2 Champions League defeat at Atletico Madrid. Kinski, who came in for Guillermo Vicario, twice lost his footing to give goals to Marcos Llorente and Julian Alvarez, after which he was taken off by interim head coach Igor Tudor. In between, Mickey van der Ven also slipped to allow Anton Griezmann to score before Robin Normand at a fourth after only 23 minutes of some of the most remarkable Champions League action of recent times. Pedro Porro's goal was only an interruption as Alvarez added his second 10 minutes after the break, although Tottenham did get a late goal back through Dominic Solanke. They're 5-2 down heading into their second leg, while Liverpool are also trailing, having lost at 1-0 away at Galatasaray. It was a tough time for Newcastle as they drew 1-0 with Barcelona. Lamine Yamal slotted a stoppage time penalty, while in the night's other match, Bayern Munich won 6-1 at Atalanta. There are 4 more Champions League last 16 at times this evening, with Arsenal at Bayer Leverkusen at 5:45, and at 8 o'clock Bodo Glimt hosting Sporting, Paris Saint-Germain hosting Chelsea, and Manchester City away at Real Madrid. Another piece of football news now. Wrexham striker Kiefer Moore is a big doubt for Wales' upcoming World Cup playoff campaign, according to Phil Parkinson. The striker came off in the Red Dragons' 4-2 FA Cup 5th round loss to Chelsea on Saturday. The 33-year-old, who is the club's top scorer this season with 13 goals, was omitted from the squad for his side's 2-1 defeat by Hull City last night, after it's confirmed he had suffered a tendon split. And Parkinson says the 52-cap Welsh international could miss their playoff campaign later this month. Reviewing now, and Steve Borthwick believes the expectations, scrutiny and pressure playing for England has got to his players during their 3-match losing run. After winning 11 matches in a row coming into the Six Nations, defeats by Scotland, Ireland and Italy have wrecked any possibility of an England title bid. The pressure of expectations a problem Borthwick has identified before in his 3-year reign as head coach, and he believes is getting to his players. Golf now, and Scottish Shepherds hit back at suggestions about a supposed slump in form to start 2026 as the world number one looks to win the Players' Championship for a third time in 4 years. Were he to be successful around Sawgrass again this week, Sheffield would join Jack Nicklaus as the only three-time winner of the event. But a tied 24th finish at the Isle of Paramount Invitational on Sunday marked Sheffield's worst PGA Tour result in 13 months, as he ranked 44th in the field for the week in strokes gained approach, his worst in any 72-hole PGA Tour event for 4 years. Speaking ahead of the Players, where he partners Tommy Fleetwood and Justin Thomas in the opening 2 rounds, Sheffield defended his form in 2026, adding, "I'm always my own biggest critic." Finally, don't forget it's another big day of racing on the second day of the Cheltenham Festival with 7 contests, starting with the Turners Novices Hurdle at 1:20. The Queen Mother Champion Chase highlights the card at 4 o'clock, which runs through into the Champion Bumper at 5:20. That's all for now, we'll have more later. These are your late sports headlines. I'm Jack Ogleby. We start with football, and Tottenham's calamitous season hit a desperate new low as goalkeeper Anthony Kinski was taken off after only 17 minutes in a humbling 5-2 Champions League defeat at Atletico Madrid. Kinski, who came in for Guillermo Vicario, twice lost his footing to give goals to Marcos Llorente and Julian Alvarez, after which he was taken off by interim head coach Igor Tudor. In between, Mickey Van der Ven also slipped to allow Anton Griezmann to score before rubbing low on Mand, and a fourth after only 23 minutes of some of the most remarkable Champions League action of recent times. Pedro Porro's goal was only an interruption, as Alvarez added his second 10 minutes after the break, although Tottenham did get a late goal back through Dominic Solanke. They're 5-2 down heading into their second leg, while Liverpool are also trailing, having lost at 1-0 away at Galatasaray. It was a tough time for Newcastle as they drew wood-all with Barcelona. Lamine Yamal slotted a stoppage time penalty, while in the night's other match, Bayern Munich won 6-1 at Atalanta. There are 4 more Champions League last 16 at ties this evening, with Arsenal at Bayer Leverkusen at 5:45, and at 8 o'clock Bodo Glimt hosting Sporting, Paris Saint-Germain hosting Chelsea, and Manchester City away at Real Madrid. Another piece of football news now. Wrexham striker Kiefer Moore is a big doubt for Wales' upcoming World Cup playoff campaign, according to Phil Parkinson. The striker came off in the Red Dragons' 4-2 FA Cup 5th round loss to Chelsea on Saturday. The 33-year-old, who is the club's top scorer this season with 13 goals, was omitted from the squad for his size 2 defeat by Hull City last night, after it's confirmed he had suffered a tendon split. And Parkinson says the 52-cap Welsh international could miss their playoff campaign later this month. Rugby Union now, and Steve Borthwick believes the expectations, scrutiny and pressure playing for England has got to his players during their 3-match losing run. After winning 11 matches in a row, coming into the Six Nations, defeats by Scotland, Ireland and Italy have wrecked any possibility of an England title bid. The pressure of expectations is a problem Borthwick has identified before in his 3-year reign as head coach, and he believes it's getting to his players. Golf now, and Scottish Shepherds hit back at suggestions about a supposed slump in form to start 2026 as the world number one looks to win the Players' Championship for a third time in 4 years. Were he to be successful around Sawgrass again this week, Sheffield would join Jack Nicklaus as the only 3-time winner of the event. But a tied 24th finish at the Isle of Paramount Invitational on Sunday marked Sheffield's worst PGA Tour result in 13 months, as he ranked 44th in the field for the week in strokes gained approach, his worst in any 72-hole PGA Tour event for 4 years. Speaking ahead of the Players, where he partners Tommy Fleetwood and Justin Thomas in the opening 2 rounds, Sheffield defended his form in 2026, adding, "I'm always my own biggest critic." Finally, don't forget it's another big day of racing on the second day of the Cheltenham Festival with 7 contests, starting with the Turners Novices Hurdle at 1:20. The Queen Mother Champion Chase highlights the card at 4 o'clock, which runs through into the Champion Bumper at 5:20. That's all for now, we'll have more later. These are your late sports headlines. I'm Jack Ogleby. We start with football, and Tottenham's calamitous season hit a desperate new low as goalkeeper Anthony Kinski was taken off after only 17 minutes in a humbling 5-2 Champions League defeat at Atletico Madrid. Kinski, who came in for Guillermo Vicario, twice lost his footing to give goals to Marcos Llorente and Julian Alvarez, after which he was taken off by interim head coach Igor Tudor. In between, Mickey Van der Ven also slipped to allow Anton Griezmann to score before rubbing low on Mand, and a fourth after only 23 minutes of some of the most remarkable Champions League action of recent times. Pedro Porro's goal was only an interruption, as Alvarez added his second 10 minutes after the break, although Tottenham did get a late goal back through Dominic Solanke. They're 5-2 down heading into their second leg, while Liverpool are also trailing, having lost at 1-0 away at Galatasaray. It was a tough time for Newcastle as they drew wood-all with Barcelona. Lamine Yamal slotted a stoppage time penalty, while in the night's other match, Bayern Munich won 6-1 at Atalanta. There are 4 more Champions League last 16 at times this evening, with Arsenal at Bayer Leverkusen at 5:45, and at 8 o'clock Bodo Glimt hosting Sporting, Paris Saint-Germain hosting Chelsea, and Manchester City away at Real Madrid. Another piece of football news now. Wrexham striker Kiefer Moore is a big doubt for Wales' upcoming World Cup playoff campaign, according to Phil Parkinson. The striker came off in the Red Dragons' 4-2 FA Cup fifth round loss to Chelsea on Saturday. The 33-year-old, who is the club's top scorer this season with 13 goals, was omitted from the squad for his size 2 defeat by Hull City last night, after it's confirmed he had suffered a tendon split. And Parkinson says the 52-cap Welsh international could miss their playoff campaign later this month. Rugby Union now, and Steve Borthwick believes the expectations, scrutiny and pressure playing for England has got to his players during their 3-match losing run. After winning 11 matches in a row coming into the Six Nations, defeats by Scotland, Ireland and Italy have wrecked any possibility of an England title bid. The pressure of expectations is a problem Borthwick has identified before in his 3-year reign as head coach, and he believes is getting to his players. Golf now, and Scottish Scheffler has hit back at suggestions about a supposed slump in form to start 2026 as the world number 1 looks to win the Players' Championship for a 3rd time in 4 years. Were he to be successful around Sawgrass again this week, Scheffler would join Jack Nicklaus as the only 3-time winner of the event. But a tied 24th finish at the Paramount Invitational on Sunday marked Scheffler's worst PGA Tour result in 13 months, as he ranked 44th in the field for the week in strokes gained approach, his worst in any 72-hole PGA Tour event for 4 years. Speaking ahead of the Players, where he partners Tommy Fleetwood and Justin Thomas in the opening 2 rounds, Scheffler defended his form in 2026, adding, "I'm always my own biggest critic." Finally, don't forget it's another big day of racing on the second day of the Cheltenham Festival, with 7 contests, starting with the Turners Novices Hurdle at 1:20. The Queen Mother Champion Chase highlights the card at 4 o'clock, which runs through into the Champion Bumper at 5:20. That's all for now, we'll have more later. These are your late sports headlines. I'm Jack Ogilby. We start with football, and Tottenham's calamitous season hit a desperate new low as goalkeeper Anthony Kinski was taken off after only 17 minutes in a humbling 5-2 Champions League defeat at Atletico Madrid. Kinski, who came in for Guillermo Vicario, twice lost his footing to give goals to Marcos Llorente and Julian Alvarez, after which he was taken off by interim head coach Igor Tudor. In between, Mickey Van der Ven also slipped to allow Anton Griezmann to score before Robin Lonormand at a 4th after only 23 minutes of some of the most remarkable Champions League action of recent times. Pedro Porro's goal was only an interruption, as Alvarez added his second 10 minutes after the break, although Tottenham did get a late goal back through Dominic Solanke. They're 5-2 down heading into their second leg, while Liverpool are also trailing, having lost at 1-0 away at Galatasaray. It was a tough time for Newcastle as they drew 1-0 with Barcelona. Lamine Yamal slotted a stoppage time penalty, while in the night's other match, Bayern Munich won 6-1 at Atalanta. There are 4 more Champions League last 16 at times this evening, with Arsenal at Bayer Leverkusen at 5:45, and at 8 o'clock Bodo Glimt hosting Sporting, Paris Saint-Germain hosting Chelsea, and Manchester City away at Real Madrid. Another piece of football news now. Wrexham striker Kiefer Moore is a big doubt for Wales' upcoming World Cup playoff campaign, according to Phil Parkinson. The striker came off in the Red Dragons' 4-2 FA Cup fifth round loss to Chelsea on Saturday. The 33-year-old, who is the club's top scorer this season with 13 goals, was omitted from the squad for his size 2 defeat by Hull City last night, after it's confirmed he had suffered a tendon split. And Parkinson says the 52-cap Welsh international could miss their playoff campaign later this month. Rugby Union now, and Steve Borthwick believes the expectations, scrutiny and pressure playing for England has got to his players during their 3-match losing run. After winning 11 matches in a row coming into the Six Nations, defeats by Scotland, Ireland and Italy have wrecked any possibility of an England title bid. The pressure of expectations is a problem Borthwick has identified before in his 3-year reign as head coach, and he believes is getting to his players. Golf now, and Scottish Scheffler has hit back at suggestions about a supposed slump in form to start 2026 as the world number 1 looks to win the Players' Championship for a 3rd time in 4 years. Were he to be successful around Sawgrass again this week, Scheffler would join Jack Nicklaus as the only 3-time winner of the event. But a tied 24th finish at the Paramount Invitational on Sunday marked Scheffler's worst PGA Tour result in 13 months, as he ranked 44th in the field for the week in strokes gained approach, his worst in any 72-hole PGA Tour event for 4 years. Speaking ahead of the Players, where he partners Tommy Fleetwood and Justin Thomas in the opening 2 rounds.
I couldn't believe it. So I was like, do you know what, buddy? You're watching some football tonight at least. So I went into the ticket booth, got him a ticket, and walked him into the gate. I didn't want to ask for like photos and more information because he was absolutely heartbroken.
He'd done all that journey.
Oh, I know.
And
but I tried to find him second half to make sure, he's enjoying the game and, would he come back or blah, blah, blah. But yeah, couldn't find him. So he'd either gone to watch the second half of Barcelona in the in a pub, or he was sat in a different seat. But yeah, I just couldn't believe it. I've asked everyone at the club, and no one's heard of that happen before. Even though might be fairly likely with the two stadiums named the same. But yeah, couldn't believe it.
It'd be nice if he got an Exeter City top in the club shop, and he's going to wear that.
Here's to hoping. I hope he did. And if he's listening, and we have tried, people try and track down. If he ever wants to come back, we'll more than happily have him back. Yeah,
didn't even see a win for you, did he? Oh well.
No, we lost 1-0.
Yeah,
to be fair, they're top of the league though. So
fair play.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, good stuff. Thanks for sharing that with us, mate.
No
Appreciate
problem.
it.
See you, buddy.
Cheers, Adam Spencer, Exeter City's matchday experience. Obviously, you'd just be so gutted, wouldn't you? Oh man, they've got to get back on the train, back to London. Fly back to Barcelona. Oh well.
Still, Exeter is a beautiful city.
Isn't it just? Well, that's it again for us, isn't it? We've got 3 hours tomorrow, 3 hours Friday. We're back with the full Monty.
The full fat version tomorrow.
That's it, exactly that. Stay with us, because we've got a whole load of Champions League football coming up. Steve Crossman, the other side of the news headlines. Have a good evening. Stuart Clarkson going to bring you those shortly.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Chris, thank you. Sir Keir Starmer was warned about the general reputational risk of appointing Lord Mandelson as the UK's ambassador to the US because of his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. Files released by the government this afternoon also suggest Lord Mandelson asked for a payout of more than £500,000 when he left the job last year, and that he was actually paid £75,000. 400 million barrels of oil are being released from emergency reserves to help tackle rising prices caused by the war in the Middle East. It's equivalent to what usually travels through the Strait of Hormuz in 20 days. A 16-year-old is being questioned over the stabbing of a fellow pupil at a school in Norwich. It happened around 10:30 this morning at Thorpe St Andrews School. And a man has been given a 15-month suspended prison sentence for manslaughter after crashing his e-bike into a pensioner. Clifford Cage was riding it on the pavement in Rochester in Kent in 2023 when he hit the 91-year-old man. It's thought to be the first time that an e-bike rider has been sentenced for manslaughter in England.
Six Music.
Devote your mornings to music.
Nick Grimshaw.
Let Six Music deliver us from grey skies with the best sounds in the world. And grace us with some incredible artists. Nima is with us this morning.
It is my favourite record of mine.
It's a banger.
As we ascend into the day ahead with music beyond the mainstream. Nick Grimshaw
On BBC
Radio.
Six Music.
Just say, play Six Music. This is 5 Live Sports, the Champions League with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Good evening. Such a big night of Champions League football on the way. So we will be bringing you 2 last 16 first leg commentaries. Later on, 8 o'clock, Real Madrid against Manchester City, during which we're going to keep you right up to date with another massive tie, Paris Saint-Germain against Chelsea. We'll also be at Indian Wells and Cheltenham in the next 15 minutes too, but our main focus is the game that we're bringing you in only just over 10 minutes' time. The Premier League leaders Arsenal taking on Bundesliga side Bayer Leverkusen in North Rhine-Westphalia, and Ali Bruce Ball has the teams.
Hello, Steve. Yes, welcome to the Bayer Arena. The rain is teeming down here in Germany, as it has been all day, and you can probably hear the Leverkusen fans enjoying a hearty sing-song before the game, waving their giant black and red flags away to my left-hand side. They've improved throughout this competition, started slowly, have a very good home European record. It won't be easy for Arsenal tonight, but this competition for Arsenal so far this season has been a joy. They've been perfect, 8 wins out of 8, and I would argue some of their most exhilarating performances have come in this competition this season. Remember the wins against Bayern and Inter and Atletico as well. The team news pretty simple for both. One change for Arsenal from the last Premier League game against Brighton. So it's 10 changes from the FA Cup tie against Mansfield. Only Martinelli keeps his place, but one change from the Brighton game. William Saliba is back in the heart of defence alongside Gabriel. So Mosquera drops to the bench. No emotion from Mikel Arteta, because this is a very fond homecoming for Kai Havertz tonight. He was put before the press in the press conference last night. We thought he might start the game in place of Eze, but he is named amongst the subs. And Bayer Leverkusen, just one defeat in their last 12 games. They drew 3-3 at Freiburg at the weekend, one change there, and they've swapped an Argentine Ezekiel for an Argentine Ezekiel. Ezekiel Palacios comes in for Ezekiel Fernandez.
Alongside Ali for commentary, former Arsenal defender Matt Upson. Evening, Matt.
Evening, Steve.
Just picking up actually on what Ali was saying there about Arsenal in Champions League ties, especially knockout ties. We saw it against Real Madrid last season. There is a bit more of a dynamism about them. They're kind of sometimes are a bit quietly brilliant in the Premier League. I do enjoy watching and listening to them in this competition.
Is that maybe just to do with what this competition brings, though, Steve?
Yeah.
Possibly. I think it's special, isn't it? You know, whenever you see the Champions League emblem and the music and the feel about it, you're across the top teams in Europe. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And because the Champions League isn't technically used to their style of football, shall we say, I think you do get a different type of game, whereas obviously the Premier League's trying to adapt to the Arsenal set pieces and the way that they play the physicality. They have a big impact in Europe, and like Ali just mentioned, their form in this competition this season is just absolutely 10 out of 10.
Maybe also a reflection, Matt, of it being a competition that they have never won, which for a club this size is actually quite remarkable, I think.
It is. Winning trophies hasn't been the blueprint, has it, of the last 20 years, really, for Arsenal, given how well they've done. But they've got themselves into a position, whether it's likeable or not, Mikel Arteta has put this club in a position where it's challenging across all 4 trophies, still looking exceptionally strong in the Champions League and Premier League. So really exciting times the next couple of months for Arsenal fans.
And I think, Ali, that feels like the thing about tonight. When you're looking at sort of the calendar of a successful season for a team like Arsenal, this, a last 16 first leg tie, is arguably the moment when sort of whispers about things like quadruples become absolutely normal discussions that you have every week.
Yeah, that got raised in the press conference with Mikel Arteta last night. You absolutely, before I even tell you, you know what he said. Obviously not thinking about that. You've got to go game by game.
Oh, is he going game by game? Oh, it's interesting.
What he did admit, though, was, you know, this really is it in terms of the run-in now, because obviously, you know, that Premier League title race run-in has started. You know, they've reached the final of the League Cup. FA Cup, they've been playing knockout football. This is knockout football now in the Champions League. So you're ticking the games down. I worked out, actually, Steve, if they get all the way in all of them, you know, were they to go all the way and compete for all 4 by reaching the 3 finals of the Cup competitions, 19 games left to go. 10 in the Premier League, potentially 9 in the Champions League, League Cup final to come, and 3 in the FA Cup as well. And they're switched on. And for example, the return of Kai Havertz, you could see how much Havertz was beaming about that last night, but also Mikel Arteta, because with all those games to come and how big they're going to be and how much pressure there's going to be, he needs a fully fit squad, or as close to that as he can get it over the next few months. Ødegaard's still out tonight, Marino missing, and Trossard misses out tonight. But Ben White's back, Calafiori's back on the bench. I think that's crucial for Arsenal. The bench looks really strong, as always.
By the way, it sounds absolutely incredible there.
Yeah. I mean, Steve, you know, football in Germany. Yeah. I mean, I was just thinking back to West Ham's semi-final against Frankfurt in the Europa League. I think was my last experience of a European night in Germany. And that was absolutely belting. And this isn't the biggest stadium, is it, Matt? But they've packed them in. There's a very sort of red and black feel to the entire thing. I mean, you know, completely sort of red flashing lights across the roof of the stadium. Great atmosphere.
In many ways, it's nicer to watch football in these kind of stadiums. You're a little bit closer to the action. It's my first time here. I'm really impressed by it. And the atmosphere, as you've already mentioned, Steve, you can hear it coming across. It's really good inside this stadium.
I've just seen somebody with a Kai Havertz shirt there as well in the Bayer Leverkusen end, holding it up. Were you slightly surprised not to see him starting? I mean, Eberechi has been a really good big game player for Arsenal this season, of course.
He has, and it's this is a big game, and it's maybe not quite at the fitness level that he would like to be to step in for this game. I mean, he had a nice presentation from Leverkusen on the pitch beforehand, and they really welcomed him back. You know, a real protege of the club, the way he came through the youth and system. And I think he was the youngest player to reach 100 games in the Bundesliga. But before the age of, at the age of 20, I think he played 100 Bundesliga games here. So
a lot of their success, Matt, in recent years, you think of the double win under Xabi Alonso, a lot of that came from his sale to Chelsea as a 21-year-old, went for an initial 62 million. I think that fee, I don't know whether it has done, but could eventually grow to 71 million. They put that money to great use.
They have, and they've benefited hugely. So I think he's welcomed here really warmly, and the club wanted to show that to him when he the first time he's come back.
5 minutes to kick off. Let's just check in on what else we've got going on this evening. We've just had the last race of the day at Cheltenham. Rob Noffman's been watching the champion bumper.
Well, the champion bumper went to Ireland, and it's been their day, Steve, and especially leading trainer at the festival for 12 of the last 15 years, Willie Mullins. He had a treble with Il Était Temps winning the champion chase in great style for jockey Paul Townend. The odds-on favourite Madgeborough, also trained by Mullins, blundered away his chance with some poor jumping. Nicky Henderson took the 240 with Jinko Blue. Britain also won the penultimate race with 66-1 shot Martyr Tour. But that final race, the champion bumper, went to the Morn Rambler. So at the end of day 2, Ireland now lead Britain by 8 wins to 6.
And we're around 30 minutes away from Cam Norrie taking on Rinky Hijikata in the last 16 at Indian Wells. Russell Fuller.
Yes, the 2021 champion Norrie will be up against the Australian qualifier in the first match on Stadium Court 2, and there is lots to look forward to on a hot and sunny desert day. Sonny Cartel will be hoping to become the first British woman to reach the quarter-final at Indian Wells, but she will have to overcome a back problem, and the Australian Open champion Elena Rybakina. And Novak Djokovic from 1am will be the latest hurdle for Jack Draper to overcome as he tries to defend his title. Both those matches, though, Cartel and Draper, still many hours away.
Matt Upson, if we're talking about hurdles to overcome, if this season for Arsenal is going to go from a good season to a great season, what do they still need to overcome? Do you think this is a time in the season maybe where if fatigue is going to kick in, it might kick in for some of their regular starters?
Yeah, I think it probably already is, if I'm honest. And I think they're having to adapt the way they play. I think it's become a little bit more attritional in the style and how they're getting results than what it was in the first 3-4 months of the season. The games are thick and fast for competition. The bench looks incredible. I just think you've just got to finish it. And it's been the missing part of the last 2 or 3 seasons. They haven't quite seen it over the line, and it's about managing the situation, managing the game, and making those choices on field that you need to in order just to win. Doesn't matter how. You just got to get it done, and I think this group of players looks a little bit different in that sense to previous season. I think they've learnt a lot from those failures, and probably so as the manager.
Such a great night of football on the way. So 8 p.m. tonight, Real Madrid against Manchester City in the Champions League last 16 first leg. We will keep you right up to date during that commentary with Paris Saint-Germain against Chelsea in their first leg at the Parc des Princes. The other tie tonight's a great one as well. Bodo Glimt, the story of the Champions League season so far in many ways. They're at home to Sporting Club de Portugal. We've also got the top 2 in the Championship in action later as well, so we'll be right across games for Coventry against Preston, Middlesbrough against Charlton. Big night as well at the bottom of the table. West Brom at home to Southampton, and Oxford United against Blackburn Rovers. It all starts with this, and it sounds fantastic. Bayer Leverkusen against Arsenal in Full on 5 Live with Matt Upson and Ali Bruceport.
Thank you, Steve. It does feel like a really big night inside this stadium. First leg of the last 16 tie, second night of Champions League action this week, and this is Arsenal at the home of Bayer Leverkusen, who currently sits 6th in the Bundesliga, won the double a couple of seasons ago under Xabi Alonso. This squad, this team, though, much changed from that squad. Champions League finalists, you might remember that team, which contained the likes of Michael Ballack and Dimitar Berbatov back in 2002. That season actually played Arsenal in the Champions League, drew here, lost at Highbury, but went through in the second group stage, then knocked Liverpool out, knocked Manchester United out in the semi-finals, and Zinedine Zidane scored the wonder goal at Hampden Park that beat Leverkusen by 2-1. The Arsenal players in the red-bodied shirts with the white sleeves, white shorts and red socks, just getting into line-up position in the right-hand half of the field as we look down from our commentary spot here in the Bayer Arena. They've just been over to the Arsenal fans to thank them for travelling out and giving them their support. And Matt, if you wanted to picture the face of a focused athlete before a big game in any sport, Bukayo Saka standing ready to lead the team out in that tunnel a couple of minutes ago, I mean, that was just a dead-eyed stare. Dead ahead, wasn't it? Game on, let's go.
Well, we both looked at it on our little screen in front of us, and we both glanced at each other, and we were thinking the same thing. he means business. He had a total focus about what he was going to do.
Here he is, Saka, inside the penalty area, right from the kickoff, crosses in from the right-hand side. The flag is up, I think, for an offside. It was a Gyökeres flick on, or possibly a foul as Gyökeres jumped. Bayer Leverkusen get the free kick. We're underway then. Bayer Leverkusen all in black, red numbers on their backs. Robert Andrich is their captain. He is a formidable, intimidating figure. I remember commentating on him playing for the national team at Euro 2024 when he played in holding midfield, but he's an intimidating presence. I think facially he almost looks like remember the film The Gremlins?
Yeah.
When it goes wrong and they get the light and they get the water, and he's got that sort of sharp, chiseled face and the beard.
Gremlin? Which one?
What were their names? I can't remember, Matt.
Gizmo was
yeah, that's right. Gizmo was the cute one at the start, I think.
Yeah. Anyway,
exactly.
Talking of him, though, he's got to stand up today. I think physically, this is a huge challenge for Leverkusen. That back three, Kwanzaa, Andrich, Tatsoba, they have got to really stand up tall and big. Set pieces and just in general play. Already Gyökeres, that first challenge, banging him out the way. I think that is a big difference, certainly from the Premier League to any other league at the moment, and definitely when you're playing Arsenal.
Arsenal playing a bit of keep ball at the moment inside their own half. David Raya's all in yellow. He's just outside his penalty area. He's stroked to pass into the midfield. Declan Rice has run from left to right to collect it. Sideways to Timber. Saka fancied a little run at Tapsoba down the right wing there. Tapsoba makes the tackle. Throw in for Arsenal, taken quickly. Gyökeres uses his strength, turns Andrich, and is fouled on the edge of the box. That's exactly what you were talking about. And Andrich gets a yellow card. We're in the second minute of the game.
It's a shocking start to the game for him. I mean, we're only 2 minutes in and we've already been chatting about gremlins, but this one here, he had some kind of gremlin in his head, to be honest. The way the decision-making in getting tight to Gyökeres like that, you cannot get that tight. There's no point in trying to wrestle him in that position. You can't win. You're just going to make a foul. And the moment Gyökeres used his body really well, he was too tight to him, rolled him, let the ball run across him. He's got to just grapple him to the floor, and now he's got the rest of the game on a yellow card.
Gyökeres now will be absolutely licking his lips, won't he?
He's got to pull onto him, run him in the channel, drive it in with the ball, try and commit him.
Positive start for Arsenal then. Free kick. Inside right channel, couple of yards outside the Leverkusen penalty area. Gabriel at the moment, who's obviously the man we always look for from these set-piece situations, is still in discussion with Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka about what Arsenal might do with the free kick. Eventually they've agreed on it, and Gabriel jogs his way menacingly into the penalty area. The rain continues to pour down here. He has a brief word in William Saliba's ear, and then he gets himself free from the rest of the bunch of the Arsenal players. The free kick's quite close to the penalty area, though. This might come in at pace from Saka. Jogs on the spot, drives it in low, looking for a deflection. It took one, went through. Referee's not sure there whether to give goal kick or corner, and just guesses, I think, and gives a goal kick.
If in doubt, go with the goal kick. He's probably right. It was a bizarre set play. I mean, looking at Leverkusen, the way they're defending that, nobody's man-to-man. There's a line of black shirts all the way across the penalty spot, probably about 9 shirts all in a row. Arsenal all bunched at the back, and they make that little run across, don't they? Run, and then they all duck in at the same time. Looked offside, if I'm honest. If anyone had got a touch, I think there would have been an offside shout in there.
5 Live and BBC Sounds. First of 2 Champions League commentaries for you tonight. John Murray and Paul Robinson, live from Madrid this evening, the Bernabeu, for Real Madrid against Manchester City. Matt Upson sitting alongside me here in Germany, who played Champions League football himself for Arsenal, of course. They've given the ball away here. Alex Garcia plays it into the Arsenal penalty area. Saliba mops up, measured pass forward, finds Eza, and Eza pushes it out to the left to Hincapié, who curls one immediately up towards Gyökeres, and Gyökeres again is holding off Andrich here, and Andrich body checks him.
Wow.
Gyökeres tried to run past him. Andrich didn't just stand there to block his path, but he moved towards him and barged him. He's on a yellow card. Now, we were talking about this map before the game. He got sent off in the Champions League this season at home against Paris Saint-Germain. They went on to lose that game 7-2. He has got to be mighty careful now.
What is he doing? Seriously, like, you've just been booked. I can't believe, I mean, Gyökeres now is going to run him into that channel every single opportunity. He holds the ball up well, Gyökeres. Twice now he's done it really well, but as he knocked it past him, there's no intention from Andrich to play the ball, was there? It was just a clear shoulder charge.
Umut Mela is the referee from Turkey. Had a word with Andrich after the challenge. possibly a last warning. Eza slides one through a gap, Rice chases. It was either meant for Rice or Martinelli. They were making different runs, neither could get there. It's gone behind for the goal kick. Let's give you the two teams next break in play. In fact, Leverkusen have taken that goal kick quickly, so let's see what they do here. Tapsoba will clear from deep with his left foot. Kafane, the centre forward, is down on the centre spot. There's been a clash off the ball with Gabriel, so the referee's going to sort that out. The referee at the moment is pointing to give a free kick here, but he's only done that since seeing Kafane lying on the floor. I don't think he had any intention of doing that while the clearance was made by Tapsoba, so that's a strange one.
I don't understand how he can give a free kick there unless he's had information coming across from one of his assistants to say there was a situation. But if he's fouled him or smashed him off the ball, surely it's a yellow card then as well. If Gabriel has done something off the ball.
Quansah, Jarell Quansah that is, former Liverpool man, joined Bayer Leverkusen in the summer, has had a good season here in Germany, passes across to the captain Andrich. The other centre-back is Tapsoba. He floats the ball high with his right foot. Hincapié is there, heads it across to his right. Gabriel powers a header forward. Eza takes a couple of touches, nods it down. He's lost it here, just inside the Leverkusen half, and Quansah goes for a no-look pass to his left, showing that he's absolutely brimming with confidence at the moment. And then Palacios plays it over to the left wing towards Alex Grimaldo. Now, he is a player that Arsenal will have to watch tonight. 30-year-old Spaniard, 12 goals and 10 assists already this season. The Arsenal team is Raya in goal, Timber Saliba, Gabriel Hincapié, Zubamendi and Rice in the midfield, Saka, Eza, Martinelli, Gyökeres. And now Leverkusen attack. And here's Kafane, the centre forward, shoots straight at Raya, catches it cleanly in front of his face and runs out with the ball in his hands to the edge of the area. Matt Hudson.
That is super football from Bayer Leverkusen. Really good play. Movement off the ball, one-touch passing, lovely little triangles and angles to move the ball forwards through the lines. Really good controlling football. They're now just starting to get into their rhythm. Ali, 7 minutes in, you can see the home team is settling in on the ball. Arsenal more than happy not to have it really at times, and then just hit on the counter-attack, or when they have the ball, be quite direct and get the ball into Eze.
Christian Kafane is the centre forward, and they play two off him. I'll give you the Leverkusen team in a second. One of those is Terrier, who's trying to turn on the edge of the Arsenal area. He's gone down. The challenge was clean. Eza half tackled there. Timber gets the loose ball forward to Martinelli, quickly out to Saka in space on the right-hand side. Gyökeres waiting in the middle. Saka darts into the penalty area, slightly overruns that, and Alex Garcia steps in to tidy up for Leverkusen and make the tackle. That's his job, isn't it?
Yeah, top position from Garcia. They read it so well. It's really hard for Tapsoba. If he's recovering over that side, you know Saka wants to come in on his left foot. Sometimes you just can't stop him. But Garcia knows that little space. He knows that's the danger area this evening with a left-footed wide right player. Came across and just made the tackle. Really good play.
You can hear the incessant drumbeat ringing around the stadium as Leverkusen build up from within their own half. Tapsoba, low pass out to the left to Grimaldo. Grimaldo's followed up that touchline by Zubamendi. Tapsoba then goes with a longer ball, looking for Marza, who's one of these two alongside Terrier, who play in behind the centre forward. And Patrick Schick, the Czech international who's missed the last couple of games, is on the bench tonight. Real shame, I think, for Leverkusen that he can't start. But it's Yanis Blažič in goal. Mark Flecken is out with a long-term injury at the moment, the former Brentford keeper who joined Leverkusen in the summer. Quansah, Andrich and Tapsoba we've mentioned. Ernest Poku on the right-hand side, Grimaldo on the left, Palacios and Garcia in central midfield, Terrier and Marza, Algerian international, in behind Christian Kafane, who is a Cameroonian international, just 19 years old, and has 7 goals to his name so far this season, one of those in the Champions League. 9 minutes played in the first half. Gabriel has the ball at his feet inside the Arsenal half, across to Zubamendi and back to Saliba. No real pressure on him, rolls it forward to Zubamendi again. Little exchange of passes with Declan Rice, then Zubamendi fires it across to Gabriel, forward to Rice, back to Gabriel again, and Arsenal just trying to draw Leverkusen onto them at the moment. Saliba at walking pace, midway inside his own half. 10-yard pass to his left finds Gabriel, back to Saliba, then Marza closes in, it goes wide to Timber, then Zubamendi, forward to Gyökeres, chest it down neatly here to Rice. Saka starts to make a run down the right, Rice holds on to it for now, then turns back, midway inside the Leverkusen half, wide on the right, Zubimendi, Saliba, and back across to Gabriel.
I thought Declan Rice could have just dinked that over for Saka then. Made a really nice timed run from out to in, wanted the ball in behind, and Declan Rice just turned out and opted to keep possession, but Arsenal building nicely at the moment.
Gabriel Martinelli's had a fantastic season goals-wise in the Champions League for Arsenal. 6 in 7 games against 6 different opponents as well. Starting wide left tonight, Leandro Trossard not on the bench for Arsenal this evening, not fit to take part. Here's Hincapié. Hincapié out to Martinelli, level with the edge of the penalty area, gets it back onto his right foot, moves away from Poku, thinks about the cross, turns again, back onto the right foot, looking for the opportunity to get the ball in, and eventually just rolls it back to Rice. Rice picks up the pace a little, zips one across to Timber. Timber goes wide to Saka. This is Saka against Grimaldo. Saka's step over, goes for the outside, makes the space, crosses in. Palacios is there to intercept. Passes out to his left, and Grimaldo goes down the left-hand touchline up towards Kafane, followed by Gabriel, and that will go out for a Leverkusen throw. 11 minutes into the first half, Bayer Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0.
Whenever Arsenal have that sustained pressure in and around the edge of the opponent 18-yard box, I just feel they're the spaces where they really miss Martin Odegaard. He like has this creative ability to find the pass, whether it be through, over, around. He's so cheeky with the way he slips those little balls through, lifts it over defences, and you know it looks like it could be a night for that. Leverkusen are going to drop really deep and defend the edge of the box when Arsenal have the ball. It's going to take a really creative pass just to break that down.
Ball comes off Terrier's boot. Saliba is able to hoist it high in the air, but straight out of play for a throw into Leverkusen on the halfway line. This is the third English team that Leverkusen have played in the Champions League this season. As I say, they started the competition slowly, then really got going with a win away to Benfica. They followed that with a win away to Manchester City, won that game by 2-0. Newcastle came here in the league phase as well, and that game ended 2-2. Recent record against English teams for Leverkusen is decent, and their historic record as well in knockout ties against English teams in European competition is really good. Played 5 and won 4 of them. So Arsenal will be aware of the threat. Hincapié back to Rice, who's letting that hair grow out. Declan Rice, a bit like David Raya. Every week I see him, he gets shaggier and shaggier.
Is it while you're having a bit of a go at the moment?
Not anymore, Matt.
No?
Not anymore. That's just untidy, I think I would describe mine as. Got absolutely soaked on my afternoon walk. Here's Saka, zipping in from the right-hand side. Looks for Eza with the pass. Didn't find him, cleared to the halfway line. Gabriel suddenly got an awkward one-on-one here with Kafane, and Kafane's taking it off him, and Arsenal defenders rushing back to help. Declan Rice moves in, makes up the ground, gets a foot on the ball, back to Raya.
I did think to myself, he's taking a bit of a risk here, Gabriel, and he's very good at using his body, isn't he? Like, he steps across, he puts it in the way of people, makes a real blockade with it, but when that ball's bouncing and you don't just deal with it, you run the risk of you know, the centre forward finding a way just to wriggle round you or make a little foul that isn't seen and get in, and nearly got caught out there. He's lucky Declan Rice read it so early, just got himself back in position to deal with it. But
yeah, Hincapié was coming back too, wasn't he? Man? Straight on it, both of those Arsenal players.
He was, but you're running the risk when that ball is bouncing and you just don't deal with it. When you're the last defender, you can't take that chance.
For those listeners to the Commentator's View podcast, which comes out every Friday, and are interested in our commentary positions, and particularly the seats we sit in, quite unusual seats tonight. They're sort of diddy little swivel chairs, aren't they, Matt?
Are you finding this comfortable?
I'm quite enjoying them, actually. Yeah.
You've not stopped moving on it.
They've not got a proper back to them. It's just a sort of foam cushion that you can swing left and right on. So, yeah, enjoying the experience at the Bayer Arena. This is Bayer Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. First leg of this last 16-time at Champions League. Martinelli caught by Palacios, who came thundering through, got the ball first of all, but then his momentum caught Martinelli, and I'm not surprised that's sore. He's down holding his right leg.
Yeah, but I don't like to see a free kick for that. I mean, just play on. It's barely caught him. They're the kind of challenges that you pay a ticket for to come and watch as a supporter. You sent a midfield player hurtling into a tackle to win in the middle of the park. That's what everyone's here to watch, isn't it?
Yeah.
But given a foul for that, barely
good
caught
tackle.
him.
Good tackle.
Just good tackle. Wins the ball, bit of follow through.
Yeah.
That's football. It happens.
Free kick from Arsenal, went forward, headed away, and suddenly Ibrahim Marza has a lot of space to run into here. Running at Arsenal defenders, forward it goes to Kafane. Gabriel's behind him. Marza shoots with his left foot wide of the target, and it goes behind for a goal kick to Arsenal. But this has been a pretty even contest.
Yeah,
so
I know
far.
they're without Schlick, who is a big presence up front down the middle, but Kofane started really well. Got some good movement off the balls, held it up once or twice. He's posing a bit of a question to Gabriel and trying to play on him as the last defender. I think he feels that if he gets one-on-one or the ball gets put in behind, I think he feels like he's got the beating of him.
Just had a close-up shot of Kasper Hjulman, who is the Leverkusen manager, took over 3 games into the season. I'm sure people will remember that story because Erik ten Hag was the man to replace Xabi Alonso and really didn't last very long. Hjulman is the former coach of the Danish national team. He was in charge in the Euro 2020 semi-final against England. He was in charge of that team. England beat Denmark in the semi-finals with the Harry Kane penalty in extra time, managed them through until 2024, and now back in club football here with Leverkusen.
I think it was only 3 games, Ten Hag, wasn't it?
3 games.
3 league games.
Yeah, 3 games. Yeah.
It's incredibly short.
It was. Not the right fit.
Well,
I mean, Igor Tudor's lasted longer than that, Matt.
Beat that record.
High ball into the Arsenal half. This is Kofane wrestling with Gabriel. Gabriel wins the header. Rice hooks it on. Flicked on by Zubamendi. Garcia plays it back to Tapsoba. Very calmly done by Leverkusen inside their own half. And Grimaldo, short, stocky figure in the bright yellow boots, gets on the ball and is trotting forward. Lays it off. Sprints looking for the return pass, but the cross comes in from Terrier and it's straight into the arms of Raya. And there's a bit of space here in midfield because Raya's rolled it out to Rice. Rice has come jogging forward with the ball at his feet to the halfway line. Eza's got plenty of time to look up and play this pass to Timber, and Timber suddenly up to the edge of the Leverkusen area. Saka's cross comes in towards the far post. Martinelli is beaten to that by Poku. Eza jumps. Poku's there again, miscues the clearance. Ball goes spinning high in the air. Timber goes for a clever header to his right looking for Saka. Grimaldo clears it away and Saliba nods it down, and Zubamendi picks up for Arsenal. Quickly across to Rice. Hincapié forward in the attack. 35 yards from goal. Goes out to the left to Martinelli. Martinelli crosses in with his right foot. Andrich is there, heads it straight out for a throw into Arsenal. Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0.
Yeah, not a bad header from Andrich. He's in the central position of the back 3. He's going to have a lot of crosses come into the box today. You feel they're not really working it centrally, Arsenal. I think they're trying to get it wide to Martinelli or Saka and then get bodies in the box, but at the moment struggling to create any real goal-scoring opportunities.
Full commentary of Real Madrid against Manchester City, live from the Bernabeu this evening on BBC Radio 5 Live. That follows this. Here's Hincapié. Hincapié with his back to goal, keeps the ball in play, then a low attempted cross hits the heels of Gyökeres and it falls to Garcia. Gyökeres gives chase into the Leverkusen penalty area. Back to Tapsoba. Tapsoba on the edge of his own 6-yard box, plays it across to Andrich. Got to be careful here. That was a loose pass and Leverkusen get away with it. Shirt tucked by Gyökeres, spotted by the referee, but he plays the advantage. And Leverkusen keep the ball and Andrich involved again across to Palacios.
Well, they get away with it with a brilliant first touch from Palacios. Wow, he dealt with that ball brilliantly. It was such a risky pass in, but his first touch was away from Rice. He's such a good little technician, isn't he?
Here's Marza, gets on the ball for Leverkusen, attacking position. Out to the right it goes to Poku, back to Kwanzaa, first time cross from him, high swinging deep one to the far post. Raya claims it, immediately bowls it out underarm to Saka, who goes sprinting across the halfway line, drops his right shoulder, moves infield. Timber makes the run on the outside, receives the pass, low ball, Eza lets it run, Gyökeres on the turn, plays it to Martinelli, he hits the bar, comes back to Saka, and then Tapsoba just sticks his right thigh on the ball to get it away for Leverkusen, and anywhere will do. Fabulous build-up from Arsenal, rasping finish. It didn't end up in the back of the net, it struck the crossbar.
That great awareness, wasn't it, from Eze to just leave the ball. Lovely spot from Gyökeres as well, who started the game really well, actually, I think, with the ball, and he's looked a threat, slips it wide to Martinelli, takes it onto his left foot, gets a good hit, to be honest. He kind of tried to go high into that near post area. Might have had a little deflection as well onto the crossbar.
Yeah, I think technically I called that a rasping finish. If it doesn't end up as a goal, I don't think it can be a finish, can it? I think if I was going to pick myself up there...
It can still be rasping.
A rasping strike, shall we say, that's rattled the crossbar.
But it's the first time they got the ball wide. I think it was Timber on the overlap, wasn't it? Saka came inside, Timber on the overlap over there on the right, and he just reversed past him in, and all of a sudden the space was there. And I think if they create that space, they certainly look a little bit vulnerable in that back three by Leverkusen.
Really enjoyable first 20 minutes of Champions League football tonight. Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. Andrich on the yellow card for Leverkusen in the heart of the defence, but they've looked a threat as well. Andrich is on the ball right now, sweeps a low pass out to Poku, who's a Dutch under-21 international. Jarell Quansah won his first England cap back in November under Thomas Tuchel. England's squad on the way very soon, with the internationals coming at the end of the month. He'll be hoping for a place in the World Cup squad. Quansah's ball here finds Tapsoba, closed down by Eze. Quansah available again. Left-footed pass up towards Kafane. He's managed to turn Gabriel. Runs away with the ball. 30 yards from goal in a central position. Gets it onto his right foot. The crowd are screaming shoot. Plays it back to Quansah. Quansah hits it well with his left foot, and that is a brave block. It's Gabriel who's thrown his body in the way of that shot. And the impact is such that it's knocked him off his feet, taken the wind out of him, and we're going to have a stoppage in play as he recovers. Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0.
I mean, I take it that, yeah, that block is totally intentional from Gabriel. Quansah has plenty of time. He's bang in the middle of the box, about 25 yards out, puts it onto his left foot, hits it as hard as he can, and it kind of strikes Gabriel almost top of the chest, near the throat area, isn't it? You can see why he's needing a little bit of attention. Must have took the wind out of his sails there.
Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. Little replay there of the Martinelli strike that came back off the bar. All the raindrops just trickling to the floor as the woodwork is shaking there. Goalkeeper Blažić threw a right hand up, but he wasn't stopping that. And Martinelli, spotted by our producer John Southall ahead of this game. If he scores tonight, it will be 7 goals in a Champions League campaign. It will equal the Arsenal record of the great Thierry Henry. And still, you'd imagine this draw, Matt, we're still waiting for Gabriel to get back on his feet, as set up nicely for Arsenal, you would say, given the form they've shown in this competition. So were they to go through this tie against Leverkusen, they play the winners of Bodo Glimt Sporting in the quarterfinals, and then coming their way on this side of the draw, Newcastle, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid and Spurs. I mean, that is, as an Arsenal fan, I think you're very happy with that.
Yeah, they're caught on a good side of the draw. I mean, last year had some tough games, didn't they? But this year it looks pretty good, and I'm looking at the replay again of the Gabriel one, and I'm not surprised he's taken a couple of minutes. I think it was like throat, chin, almost full blast as he kind of laid down a cross. It was a brave block. I like the way he stayed square on as well. Didn't turn his back.
Showed as much of himself as he could.
Took it right at the top of the chest.
Yeah.
But,
hands behind his back, of course.
Yeah. I've just thought that of a gremlin.
Oh yeah,
Strike.
Strike or stripe? Stripe. Yeah, because he had the making. That's him.
That's the one.
That's Andrich. Andrich is stripe.
Yeah,
we got there midway through the first half. Well done, Matt Upson.
Sorry.
Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. Poku racing into the Arsenal half. Zubimendi gets to the ball first, plays it back to Raya. Raya really carefully concentrated on the left-footed pass out of his own penalty area. Got it to Saliba, and Arsenal have worked it well to release Timber on the right. He rushes forward, then stops just over the halfway line, plays it back to Rice, who immediately goes for the high diagonal looking for Martinelli on the left. It's headed away. Nketiah nods it down. Martinelli got 2 Leverkusen players for company there. Does really well to hold off Palacios, and then goes running, looking for a 1-2 with Gyökeres. Can't quite get the ball back to him. Nketiah shoots, though, from the angle, straight at the goalkeeper, and Blažić makes the save.
Well, they wanted a foul there by Leverkusen, but the referee waved it on. I think had that gone in the back of the net, he was happy. Martinelli really kind of jinky and purposeful with his run in there, just created the opportunity, and Nketiah with his right-footed shot, comfortable for Blažić in the end.
Just over 20 minutes to play in the first half. Leverkusen fans unhappy with that challenge from Saliba on Kafane. Leverkusen fans now unhappier. There's not a yellow card for it. I don't think that's a yellow card. They challenged for a header. It's a free kick to Leverkusen. That's that.
Yeah, I think it's just a bit of a grab of the shirt from Saliba. Tries to do it sneakily.
Yeah.
And then he holds on to it as he goes through. I mean, it's a clear foul, and probably bordering on a yellow card. You do see them given.
Yeah.
When you look at that slow-mo replay.
I didn't realise until we saw the replay quite what had happened there. That was sneaky. That was a full handful of the shirt, but Saliba had his left arm behind his own back, and almost sort of judo threw him to the floor.
It's definitely an experience for Kafane, the young 19-year-old, playing against those two at the back for Arsenal. I mean, that's not an easy game for him, leading the line by himself.
That is testing yourself against arguably the best defence in the world, isn't it, Matt?
Yep, and both very physical. They get very tight. They like to go all the way into the midfield if you drop short, and always physical. Every time the ball's near you, they're in contact.
Scored in his last 2 games as Christian Kafane against Hamburg and Freiburg. Can he pierce the Arsenal defence tonight? Still 0-0. Gabriel plays it back to Raya. Raya stops the ball with the studs of his right boot. Straight past to Zubimendi. Immediately forward here to Eze. Kasper Hjulman unhappy that Eze's got so much space there. Screams across the pitch. Forward it goes to Martinelli. We didn't really know that pass was coming. Now he's dragged Palacios back. He lost the ball. Palacios was away. Martinelli will get the yellow card for the shirt tug.
I just thought it was a little bit slow there. I mean, Eze had plenty of space, so much so that Hjulman shouting onto his team to, why has he got that much space? But then it didn't have enough punch to what he did with the ball, didn't have enough purpose. The pass into Martinelli, he got caught, then he got completely ambushed by about 3 players, and then ends up getting a yellow card for tugging his shirt back. And I think it turned a really good situation into a real negative of a booking for an Arsenal player.
Yeah, it's funny how things like that develop from where Arsenal, as an in space, good opportunity, and suddenly you're on the back foot and you've got to concede a yellow card.
But it just felt a little bit kind of, I've got the ball, I've got the space, and now I'm not quite really doing anything too productive. And I think that's been something that maybe he could do better, is when he gets in those areas, really start to drive and commit, like play with a slightly higher energy for me, certainly in these kind of fixtures.
Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. Real Madrid, Manchester City, our second Champions League commentary tonight, kicks off at 8. We'll keep you updated on Paris Saint-Germain against Chelsea in the Parc des Princes, and Bodo Glimt against Sporting as well. Gyökeres gets it back to Eze. The pass was just behind Eze. He's lost it here. Tapsoba then passes the ball, hits the referee. Referee says play on, because Palacios was able to keep going for Leverkusen inside his own half, running out of space there. Finds Grimaldo. Grimaldo to Tapsoba, who's a tall, rangy defender. Black Leverkusen shirt on, red number 12 on his back, bright orange boots. Garcia trying to get away from Rice. Rice has committed the foul there, and that will be a free kick for Bayer Leverkusen. Alex Garcia playing in central midfield for Leverkusen tonight, once of Manchester City. Joined the club as an 18-year-old back in 2015, only made 9 appearances, really made his name at Girona, and actually joined Leverkusen here from Girona at the start of last season. He has featured in every single game for them so far this season and started most of those. Absolutely crucial in the heart of the Leverkusen midfield. Here's Andrich from the Leverkusen free kick. Arsenal players close in on Tapsoba. Tapsoba has to turn and go back to his goalkeeper Blažič, who's all in green. Whacks it downfield with his right foot. Zubimendi wins the first header and the second. Nods that high in the air. Saka will chase. Grimaldo gets his header back here to Tapsoba, and Tapsoba strokes a good ball down the inside left channel for Kafane, who lays it off to Grimaldo, and Arsenal having to chase back into their own half, and Grimaldo just stops for a second, waits for the support. They look for Marza. The pass is overhit. Saliba intercepts, finds Timber. Timber turns and neatly brings it away for Arsenal. Releases Saka on the right, just inside his own half. Saka with the ball at his left foot, back into midfield. Good vision from Rice. As soon as he saw the pass coming there, he knew what he was going to do. Hit it first time, and Eze is on the ball, but it seems to have slowed down a little again from Arsenal. Martinelli might try and pick up the pace here against Poku on the left. Forces the pass in field to Rice. Back to Eze, on his right foot, thought about the shot, looks for the 1-2 here with Saka. Eze's tackled, Palacios has the ball, Hincapié tries to make the challenge, Palacios beats him, and then the ball forward hits the heels of Gabriel and runs here to Kafane. Kafane does well to hold on to it, gets it back to Palacios, was hit late in a challenge. The referee will play the advantage here, and Leverkusen sense an opportunity to come forward. So half an hour gone in the first half of this first leg of this last 16 Champions League tie. Still Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. Palacios.
I've been impressed with him. I think he's done very well so far. I mean, they're not big in stature, those two in the middle of the Leverkusen midfield, are they? But they're very intelligent footballers. The way they position themselves, they're stepping out to nick the ball or win little tackles, and they're always in the right place at the right time. And when the ball's at their feet, they're very, very tidy.
I didn't actually remember him from the World Cup in Qatar, but he was part of the Argentine squad that won the tournament. 3 substitute appearances there, came on and did a job when required. But impressive for Leverkusen tonight. They've still got possession here while we're talking. Tapsoba inside his own half, across to Andrich. Andrich plays it into midfield. Palacios and Garcia think about exchanging the 1-2, but Palacios holds on to it. Ball forward to Kafane. Kafane's layoff didn't find a teammate. Rice makes a couple of tackles for Arsenal. Kafane is back there to win it. Thinks about the shot from the edge of the box. Lays it off here to Poku. Rolls it back to Garcia. Poku in space on the right. Again, cuts this back. Garcia curls one across the face of goal. Raya had it covered. Puts a right hand up and then pulls it away because he knew it was going wide and behind for the goal kick.
I think it was caught between cross and shot there, wasn't it? Garcia, I mean, they tease to cross it 2 or 3 times and then pass it and then check it again, and then it comes back to Garcia, and it's not a very good cross. It's far too close to the goal, and they had 2 or 3 bodies in the box, and it's Kafane again who got back to win the ball off Declan Rice. He's had a good start, the 19-year-old. Looks really bright up top.
Caught between 2 swivelly stools, you might say there, Matt. Here in the Bayer Arena. Matt Upson, former Arsenal and England defender, watching Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. Arsenal have lost the ball inside their own half. Here's Kafane again into the penalty area. Hincapié gets back, just bumps him with his shoulder to prevent him getting the cross in. Kwanzaa forward in support. Palacios again. Leverkusen having a good little spell in the game at the moment here. The fans recognise that as well. The volume levels go up. Jarell Kwanzaa passes to Palacios, infield to Garcia, playing in front of Arsenal here at the moment inside the Arsenal half. Andrich wide to Grimaldo on the left, back to Tapsoba. Tapsoba to Andrich, straight pass up the middle. Marza gets a touch, but Arsenal were patient. They've won the ball back, and Saliba looks for the run of Gyökeres. Andrich spotted that, came across, stuck out a right boot and blocked the pass, with Gyökeres running in behind him. Palacios fires it forward, looking for the run of Poku in from the right. Gabriel, little slow in the clearance there. One of the Leverkusen players, Terrier, has gone down. Gabriel swung a left boot to clear the ball. Terrier's been caught. The referee didn't see it as a free kick.
No.
And he doesn't need to stop the game, but he's decided to stop the game because Terrier's down and has hurt his knee.
I think Arsenal just rolled it out in the end, didn't they? Because Terrier, spelt Terrier.
Yes.
Who you don't feel is quite a terrier.
He's not a player that you would associate with the terrier.
The terrier.
I'm trying to think of a classic. Who's your classic terrier? Why has David Batty sprung into my head there? Would he be a terrier?
He's a bit of a terrier.
There you go then.
Yeah. You regard yourself as a bit of a terrier?
Yeah. Not sure about that.
No. But again, another follow-through tackle, which this time the referee has said play on. So a little bit of discrepancy there, really. From a foul from the one earlier that Palacios put in, to all of a sudden Gabriel's just followed through and caught Terrier, and he's happy for that one to play on.
Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. Fabulous mix of Six Nations rugby and Premier League football coming your way over the weekend on 5 Live and the Sports Extra streams. Scotland, Ireland first up. 2:10 kick-off on Saturday. That'll be on 5 Live, so our regular 3 o'clock football commentary will start on Sports Extra. That'll be Burnley Bournemouth with the goals service, all the goals as they go in. Arsenal Everton in full, 5:30 kick-off on Saturday. Chelsea Newcastle commentary over on Sports Extra at the same time, all followed by France England in the Six Nations, which kicks off at 8:10 in the evening, and plenty more of that football action on Sunday as well. Here's Eze to Zubamendi, cross to Saliba just inside his own half. Rice receives it from Saliba, doesn't see an option forward, back to Saliba he goes, out to Timber. Timber sees Zubamendi running towards him. That's one for Gyökeres to chase. He's got away from Andrich and he gets onto the ball on the right wing. Saka was up in support and Gyökeres couldn't wrap his foot round the ball to get the pass back to him. He's knocked it straight out of play for a Leverkusen throw.
He's almost got to skew it like 108 degrees with that left foot there, hasn't he? Didn't get enough angle on the pass back. But I mean, this has been a typical kind of Arsenal game so far, hasn't it? I mean, they defend so well, so they restrict the opposition to a lot of opportunity, and they're not being as creative as maybe they'd want to themselves. So you never end up watching a game with Arsenal involved at the moment that's quite free-flowing and open. You just don't see it.
Yeah, and it also, I mean, we were discussing this in the car on the way to the ground, Matt. They wouldn't be devastated if this finished 0-0, Arsenal, would they? Take Leverkusen back to the Emirates.
Not at all, but it'd be an okay result.
Yeah, so they will be cautious and they will be solid at the back, and they will look for their opportunities, and Raya's going to go long here. Clearance looking for the run of Saka, headed away. Gyökeres chases the loose ball, doesn't get there in time. Kwanzaa clears with his right foot. Kafane and Gabriel run into each other again. This time Kafane's the culprit. Free kick for Arsenal. Taking it quickly. Eza plays to his right to Timber, wide to Saka. Saka up against Grimaldo again. Saka with the ball mesmerically tied to that left boot. Back to Timber, here's Zubamendi. Saliba, good 50 yards from goal though, Saliba. Out to the right again to Saka. Timber on the outside. Saka looks for him, the pass is blocked by Grimaldo. Another throw in for Arsenal on the right. We're into the last 9 minutes of the first half here in Germany. Has it stopped raining? Is there? I'm just having a look in the lights. I think it has, isn't it?
Looks clear. It's very clear evening. Nice, great evening for football. It's perfect temperature, not a lot of wind, bit of zip on the turf. It's just the game it's not really getting any kind of pattern or rhythm, is it? It's very stop-start, which again is a bit of a trait of watching Arsenal, not to keep making that point, but it's just how they're getting their results at the moment, and it's being successful.
Yeah, you and I watched them against Chelsea. They won that game with the set pieces by 2-1. We were both at the Brighton game, last Premier League game of the week. That was a tough watch, actually, but Arsenal got the win. Beat Mansfield, of course, in the FA Cup on Saturday as well. Poku is tackled here. The manager, Hillman, applauds his team. That'll be a throw-in for Leverkusen, who are comfortably holding Arsenal at the moment, 0-0. And the throw-in will be taken under the nose of Mikel Arteta. Poku has thrown it straight to Hincapié, or Hincapié read where it was going, moved into the space and intercepted it. Played the ball into the Leverkusen half, easy for Tapsoba to get a hold of it. Across it comes to Garcia. Then Grimaldo wide on the left. Garcia under a bit of pressure from Saka, passes back to his goalkeeper. Eza closes him down. Garcia receives it in the left-back position, passes across the face of goal. Gyökeres sees an opportunity to try and block the goalkeeper's clearance. The header is flicked on, though, by Poku. Kafane to Terrier, then Palacios, and Leverkusen have worked this ball quickly upfield. Grimaldo looks for the run of Kafane, and Kafane was never going to get that pass, wasn't really making that run. Raya slides down on the floor inside the box and grabs it for Arsenal.
Yeah, I think it's the wrong pass selection. He had a one into Terrier that probably was a better angle. That was just far too straight, so if you got the weight slightly wrong, and it was too far for Kafane to have to make up that ground to get the ball, but they don't have to work the ball nicely from the goalkeeper through the midfield, and they create those little bits of space. It's just that final pass for Leverkusen at the moment. They haven't put it together.
Zubamendi on the ball for Arsenal in the centre circle. 7 minutes remaining in the first half. You're listening to Bayer Leverkusen against Arsenal in the Champions League. John Murray and Paul Robinson will bring you full commentary of Real Madrid against Manchester City tonight, and of course we'll be back with you again next week on 5 Live and BBC Sounds with the second legs of these last 16 ties. Zubamendi's ball to Eza, midway inside the Leverkusen half. On to Rice, 1-2 between Rice and Saliba. Saliba gets it back from Rice again, wide to Saka. Grimaldo rushes in, knocks Saka off his feet. That's a foul. And a free kick for Arsenal. Have Arsenal had a corner yet, Matt? They have not, I don't think. No.
Not one. They've had a couple of wide free kicks, maybe two. But no corner.
And one of those they went for a low one, didn't they? Sort of Saka whipped one in low.
Yep.
Tried to play the dummy there because Gabriel was involved in the conversation, the build-up. And then Saka just fizzed one in low, hoping for a deflection of some sort on the ball. Arsenal are building up play down the left. Kwanzaa is able to volley it away for Leverkusen. Gabriel is there, athletically leaps, heads it back down the left-hand touchline. Zubamendi flicks a header forward, chases his own header down to the dead ball line, gets there as well, flicks it to Gyökeres, looking for the run of Hincapié, gets around the back there of Poku, cleared away for now, only to the edge of the area. Header won by Terrier, jumped over the top of Martinelli. Both players went down for a second there. Gabriel feels he's being fouled. He then says he's let the ball run out of play because he saw Terrier down. It's gone out for a throw. I don't think Leverkusen will throw this back to Arsenal. That'll just be a Leverkusen throw.
I don't think they should. I think it was a bit of Terrier in Terrier there. He got up well there and caught Martinelli. Good header right in front of the referee. Martinelli kind of appealing for a foul because I think he caught his knee right in his back. But they've been competitive in this first half, Leverkusen, and they've really had a go at those physical duels. And at the moment, they're looking relatively comfortable. It has to be said, Arsenal aren't really causing them any problems at all.
He leapt like an energetic cocker spaniel, and you would know well, wouldn't you?
Yep.
Owning a couple of those.
Yep.
Sort of energy they've got. Here's Saliba inside his own half. 5 minutes left in the first half. Intriguing watch, still 0-0. Saka, little touch around the corner, finds Gyökeres, does really well to hold on to that. Does Arsenal centre forward. It goes wide to Martinelli from Eze. Cross with the outside of the right foot. Taps over stretches. Didn't get a head on it. Grimaldo behind him to volley it away. Gets a second chance to clear now for Leverkusen. Slices it a bit. Saliba's there. Volleys it away. And out for a throw-in to the home team. Leverkusen 0. Arsenal 0. Some match stats coming your way. Shots on target so far in the game. 1 apiece. Where's possession on here? Looking on the BBC Sport website. Leverkusen 46.2, Arsenal 53.8. Even game.
That's how it's felt, isn't it?
Yeah.
To be honest, you know, if you were to say what does that game look like, the stats you just mentioned, it does play into how this game feels. Both teams, neither really showing their hand yet, to be honest, or really having a go for it. It's quite cagey.
0-0 in corners too. Arsenal haven't had one, Leverkusen haven't had one. Martinelli on the slide. Zubimendi leaps again to try and win the next ball. Kwanzaa clears. Kafane with a little layoff here, just inside the Leverkusen half. Forward it goes. Gabriel intercepts. Passes across to Hincapié. Hincapié to Rice, then Zubimendi, back to Hincapié again, and seen a little bit of that from Arsenal in the latter stages of this first half. He's passed the ball behind Martinelli, and it's gone straight out of play for a throw. Gyökeres did that about 5 minutes or so ago, just slightly off target.
Yeah, it really breaks up the rhythm. Just those simple 10-yard passes should be nailed on every time. Do it in your sleep and never miss, and they're just going astray for Arsenal in the last 2 or 3.
Blažić, the Leverkusen keeper, clears first time with his right foot. Zubimendi heads it back towards the Leverkusen penalty area. Poku can't keep that in play from the Andrich header, so that goes out for a throw-in to Arsenal. And I was having a look around as well, having commentated on Andrich for Germany at Euro 2024. He played in defensive midfield there, and he had a nickname, and I can't remember what it was, Matt, and I can't find what it was. Something like the Terminator. It's one of those. He's a sort of destroyer role. It wasn't Stripe.
So I was going to say, it's got to be Stripe, isn't it?
Or he was called the vacuum cleaner or something like that, because he hoovered.
That's not a good name. That's not going to put the fear of God into anyone.
Because he hoovered everything up. But no, I think I've made that one up. But
watch out, the vacuum's coming.
Eze out to the right to Saka. Leverkusen fans jeering and whistling the Arsenal possession. Here's Zubimendi. Zubimendi is able to turn 30 yards from goal. Back to Gabriel in a central position. Quick pass out to Martinelli on the left. Up against Poku. Brings the ball back infield. Zubimendi makes a little run for him. Martinelli holds onto the ball. Wide on the left is Hincapié. Twisting and turning is Martinelli. Goes one way, then the next, and eventually just plays it back to Gabriel. Asks for it back again. Martinelli gets it. Plays across to Saliba. Leverkusen bring themselves up the pitch, and Arsenal are back inside their own half, and then Gabriel's pass intercepted on the halfway line by Terrier. Arsenal get another chance here with Martinelli.
There's a lot of boos going on when Arsenal have the ball here from the home supporters.
Martinelli to Rice, driving run up to the edge of the area. Thought he might shoot there, plays it to Saka. Saka's closed down. Palacios makes the block. That gets an enormous roar, and then the pass to Kafane is a really good one, and Kafane is one-on-one with Gabriel. Saliba's trying to get back too. Kafane, he's going to take them both on, hits the shot with the right foot. That's blocked by one of Gabriel or Saliba. It comes back to Kafane again. Grimaldo to Marza. Marza's inside the Arsenal penalty area. Looks to fire a low crossing. Zubimendi blocks. First corner of the game.
Kafane has to trust his left foot there. He has Gabriel one-on-one. Saliba is recovering and he's inside the pitch. Why then take that touch inside? I know he's favouring his right foot, but trust your left. If he touches it, I think he beat Gabriel in that first half a yard and maybe get a shot off a cross goal at David Raya. I mean, it's a great run from him initially. He's such a good outlet. Cafano really is working the channels well, and Leverkusen, when they're soaking up all that pressure, they're looking to spin him in behind early.
Last minute of the first half, 2 minutes of added time. Cross comes in, important header from Gabriel. Ezra hooks it away over his right shoulder. That clearance turns into a really good pass and a dangerous one as well, because it's released Saka, and Saka's immediately up to the edge of the Leverkusen penalty area. Tries to take Garcia on the inside. He slipped as he dropped his shoulder and made the move. He's down on the floor. Leverkusen have the ball. They see an opportunity to counter here. Palacios jogging with the ball at his feet, passes to his left to Grimaldo, who immediately gives it back to Palacios. Straight pass here to Marza. Marza will shoot through the gap. Raya dives to his right. It's 5 yards wide of the right-hand post. Goal kick for Arsenal, 0-0.
Yeah, some really good defending there. Great header from Gabriel. And again, when they break away Arsenal and drop back in, they make it so difficult for Leverkusen to have any space. I mean, there's 3 Arsenal shirts around that shot that comes in from Marza, trying to block, not allow him any options. They kind of shut off the avenues of the options that he has with the ball, and they do it really well.
So goal kick Arsenal. Already played a minute of the 2 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. Still Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. Winners against Bodo Glimt or Sporting in the quarter-finals. Nkapie can't keep that in play. Hooked away by Raya. He holds up a big white glove in apology for the clearance. Poku is going to leave the throw here to Kwanzaa, and we are sort of slowing down and gliding towards the half-time whistle. Arsenal, of course, Champions League semi-finalists last season, lost to Paris Saint-Germain. Season before, quarter-finalists and lost to Bayern Munich. 0-0 here against Leverkusen, who've won themselves another throw, right-hand side. This one is about 20 yards inside the Arsenal half. Kwanzaa throws it back to Andrish, wide to Kwanzaa, and that is it for the first quarter of this two-legged Champions League tie. And I guess given what we've seen from Arsenal in recent weeks and the games we've covered, Matt Upson, no great surprise in the football we've watched. Leverkusen have acquitted themselves really well. It's been tight.
It's exactly as you'd expect, as you mentioned, in terms of following suit, how the performances have been, what the objectives have been, the style in which they've gone about trying to get the end result, which doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter if it entertains the crowd, as long as it's a win. It doesn't really matter, and that's the feel of the game. They've done OK, Arsenal. Leverkusen have showed some nice things, and it's very even.
Yeah, and the closest we've come to a goal, Steve, the Martinelli rasping drive with his left foot that thundered against the crossbar and bounced away to safety. Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0.
I have to say, Matt, I don't know what the record is for the earliest ever final warning when you're already on a booking. But
Yeah.
for Robert Andrich, it was inside 5 minutes.
It's incredible.
He could have gone easily.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's running the risk, isn't he? And it was just so close to that initial booking. So it was probably only, maybe I'm going to say a minute, 90 seconds from that booking. And the referee could tell he had a little split-second thought about this and maybe thought it was a booking, but as it was a second yellow so early, probably just left it and had a little chat. But since then he's been very quiet, hasn't he? And he's just had to manage the game. He's probably not played in that Terminator or the Hoover style that Ali says he is.
But have Arsenal got enough ball to Gyökeres in the last half hour of that first half? Because early on they were finding him and he was making a real nuisance of himself.
Well, it came twice. They were both against Gyökeres when he's running and tried to use his body, but they haven't. No, the answer to that is no. But maybe, I think a lot of it, Andrich has changed the way he's going to go about it. He's not going to get as tight. He's not going to play on the edge as he likes to. He's having to be a little bit more reserved in how he plays.
On the lines of the Hoover or whatever it was, Ali, I have messaged a German football expert friend of mine to see if we could find out the nickname. He said no nickname springs to mind, but you could call him the liability. So that might work in the second half.
Yeah, very good.
Right, thanks fellas for the time being. So Zip, 0-0. We'll bring you second half commentary on 5 Live from the Bayer Arena. Leverkusen, Arsenal in the Champions League. Don't forget, we've got Real Madrid, Manchester City later at 8 o'clock in full. We will keep you up to date with the other 8 o'clock kickoffs. Massive one for Chelsea, obviously, away at Paris Saint-Germain. And also Bodo Glimt against Sporting. We'll be back to Cheltenham to wrap up the day. We'll keep you up to date with the tennis as well. That last 16 tie. Hijikata 2, Norrie 3. 3-2. So he's actually got a break as Cam Norrie in the first set there of that last 16 tie. So we'll let you know what's going on with that. We'll get the news now on 5 Live with Stuart Clarkson.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Steve, thank you. Good evening. Documents published by the government have revealed Sir Keir Starmer was warned about a general reputational risk in appointing Lord Mandelson as UK ambassador to the US. Ministers say a due diligence report did not expose the depth of his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. The files also suggest Lord Mandelson requested a payout of more than £500,000 after he was sacked last year. The US military says it's destroyed 16 Iranian mine-laying vessels near the Strait of Hormuz after President Trump warned Tehran against putting mines there. 3 commercial ships have been struck by projectiles suspected to have been fired from Iran today. The UK and 31 other countries have jointly agreed their largest ever release of oil reserves in response to fluctuating prices on the energy market. The members of the International Energy Agency say they're making 400 million barrels available. And a secondary school in Norfolk was put into lockdown earlier after a teenage girl was stabbed. Police now say the boy who's been arrested is 15. He's being questioned on suspicion of causing grievous bodily harm with intent. Let's look at the roads now. Here's Orla.
Thanks, Stuart. So if we look at the A1, so it's not looking good at the moment. It's closed westbound at West Barnes because a lorry's caught fire. The M62 at Rochdale at Junction 20 and long delays there. 1 lane's closed. Queues are backing up to Simister Island. So it's affecting you on the clockwise side of the M60 as well, all because of an accident. The M6 in Warwickshire, Junction 3 at Nuneaton, there's a breakdown. It's closing one of the lanes, heading towards the M42 at Junction 4 for Coleshill. M3 southbound of the M25 at Junction 2, another breakdown, that's in one of the lanes. The A12 in Essex, partly blocked by an accident at Junction 20A at Hatfield Peveril South, and Glasgow Central Station. The high level still closed until Sunday, but the low level, shorter distances are running through. Orna Merchant, 5 Live Travel.
5 Live Sports.
The Six Nations.
From the deck, Graham! Darcy Graham! Oh my word! It is pandemonium at Murrayfield. Scotland are contenders heading into the final round of the Six Nations.
On Saturday, Ireland face Scotland at 2:10 and at 8:10, England host France.
The Six Nations on BBC Radio 5 Live. This is 5 Live Sports, the Champions League with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Bayer Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0 at half-time. Second half commentary to come on 5 Live. We're going to go to Cheltenham next. Day 2 of the festival. The Sir Alex Ferguson-owned and Willie Mullins-trained Il Était Temps won the champion hurdle after this dramatic finish.
At the last, Il Était Temps. Oh, he made a mistake on landing. So too, Irish Panther. Il Était Temps, though, landed 5 lengths clear. He has regathered his composure. He has now started to stride on again. That mistake at the last did not stop him. And Il Était Temps is the champion chaser.
It all happened so fast. He jumped it fine and just had a little peck, but he had enough energy to pick himself off, back up and get going again up the hill. An extraordinary tough horse, and delighted for everyone involved with him, yeah.
And he's won with plenty in hand, hasn't he?
Well, it's probably exaggerated by the speed we went, and took a punt on him that they'd come back to me, and he just landed on and was able to maintain the gallop that I was going throughout the race rather than sprinting away from them, I think.
Jockey Paul Townend there speaking to Rob Nuffman. Let's bring in commentator John Hunt. A bit of a shock, John, or not?
A mild shock, I'd say, Steve. I mean, Il Était Temps is a really, really good horse, and he was sent off second favourite for this afternoon's race. But you've got to try and understand that all of the build-up before the race today was about the hot favourite, a horse called Magborough, who had been absolutely fantastic on his prep run in the Dublin Racing Festival back in February in Leopardstown. So good was he that day that he was made immediately a really strong favourite to win this afternoon, but I'm afraid his jumping frailties resurfaced today. He made one or two small errors at the halfway stage of the race, but then when the things were getting really serious at the third last fence, Majbra, I'm afraid, barely took off there. He walked straight through the fence, and that was his chance completely gone. So with him no longer a contender, Ilete Tom, who had been just ridden conservatively off that very strong pace that had been set by Majbra, he just picked his way through the field, and eventually, despite a small mistake at the last fence himself, he scampered up the hill to win by 10 lengths. A really good day for Willie Mullins, his third big race winner of the day. He's having quite a week once again. But yeah, Ilete Tom, nice story, because last time we had seen him, he had fallen at Ascot, and he was on the floor at Ascot for quite some time. We were all very worried about him. He eventually obviously got up. He was just tired that day. His training has been finessed by Willie Mullins, and here he is today, the champion.
I read there was controversy about the tape on the start line.
I'm afraid this is not going away. False starts, across the last 2 days have been under scrutiny. Interesting that Paul Nicholls, 14 times champion trainer, he was very upset about the start for the first race today. That he felt dramatically affected the chance of his favourite for the opening race today. No drama this end. He just didn't get into it after a very, very messy start. Lots of problems, I'm afraid, with the start. It's a recurring theme. There were 10 full starts last year over the 4 days, Steve, and sadly it looks as though we're heading to that sort of number again. They just can't seem to, bearing in mind races are staged every day of every week in Britain and Ireland, and we very seldom have any problems. There's something about the intensity at this meeting that causes false starts to happen, and they happen far too regularly, and no one can seem to get a grip of it. For
those that don't know what the Prestbury Cup is, give us an idea about that and why it's a bit tighter than it might be normally.
Yeah, it started off, Steve, I think I'll be quite blatant about it. It's a little bit of a marketing thing about the British and Irish Challenge and the rivalry between the two sets of teams, if you like. So they devised it a few years ago, a little bit along the sort of Ryder Cup team lines, and you know, people bought into it. But it is interesting because in recent years the Irish stables have completely dominated the Cheltenham Festival, so much so that on occasions British stables were embarrassed. So the Prestbury Cup still continues. It's a running total of victories, and after day 2, it's closer than you would have expected. Ireland have had 8 wins, including 3 big ones today, and Britain 6. So they're in touch still, the British stables, largely due to the great form of Nicky Henderson, who this afternoon had his 3rd winner of the week as well. So, yeah, Venetia Williams was on the mark as well for Great Britain today, a 66-1 win with a horse called Martator. So, yeah, that's nice. And the underlying theme is an important one, Steve, because obviously when Ireland were winning all of these prizes on such a regular basis, the British horse racing industry was looking at itself saying, what on earth is happening here? Why can we not keep up? Well, the evidence of 2 days out of 4 so far is that British stables are able to keep up. The gap between them is narrowing, seemingly, if you look at the Prestbury Cup in isolation.
What about tomorrow then? 2 big races.
Fabulous races tomorrow. The Ryanair Chase is one of the big ones at 4 o'clock, and the Stayers Hurdle as well. We have got returning champions in both of those. Factifile runs in the Ryanair Chase, hot favourite. Many people felt he should have run in the Gold Cup on Friday, but they haven't taken that route. Incidentally, 11 runners will go to post for the Cheltenham Gold Cup. The favourite there is Gaelic Warrior, just ahead of Harry Redknapp's fantastic horse, the Jukebox Man. And that's Friday, but tomorrow, as I say, Factifile in the Ryanair Chase, Stayers Hurdle as well, wide open contest. Tiapu returns, but the drying ground is probably unsuitable for him. We shall see tomorrow afternoon. Emma Lavelle, who graced this festival with her magnificent stayer Paisley Park, has got another really, really good chance as well tomorrow afternoon with a horse called Ma Shantou. So again, it'll be fast, furious, controversial, exciting, and hopefully the right horses win and we get some high quality racing. I'm sure we will.
Thank you very much, John. That's John Hunt, and Cheltenham returns at 1 p.m. on 5 Sports Extra tomorrow. Second half commentary on the way tonight of Bayer Leverkusen 0, Arsenal 0. These are Champions League last 16 first legs. Later, we'll keep you up to date with what's happening at the Parc des Princes, PSG versus Chelsea. But our commentary is from inside the Bernabeu, Real Madrid versus Manchester City. Let's go live there for the first time tonight. John Murray, a fixture we get very often but never get bored of, I think.
No, I think you're right. They've played each other a lot over the last decade or so. This is the 16th time they'll have played each other over the course of 14 years. And many of the matches have been very good, and some of them have been classics.
Paul Robinson is alongside John for commentary. Evening, Paul.
Steve, good evening.
Hoping for better things for the English team that you're watching tonight than last night, yeah?
Yes, absolutely. A little bit of less of a surprise, less of a shock, if you don't mind. I mean, last night, we've spoke a lot about it at the end of the game yesterday. Tottenham at the moment, they're not in a very good place, and what we witnessed last night, there was a couple of unprecedented incidents that neither me or John have seen through our career. But I think for Manchester City tonight, I think the task is a little bit more simpler. They've got to come here, they've got to do a job and get some kind of a result to take back to Manchester next week, and it's a really good time for them to play Real Madrid because they are depleted at the moment.
The strange thing is, Steve,
Go on, John, sorry.
that last night was, some of the things that happened last night were so remarkable. I cannot believe that what we'll see tonight will actually match that in terms of the events that we saw, which is a strange thing to say when we're at the Bernabeu to watch these two clubs.
Can't wait. It's going to be great. Thank you very much, chaps. John Murray and Paul Robinson, who are inside the Bernabeu. And yeah, full commentary on the way once we're done with the second half at the Bayer Arena. The Players' Championship gets underway at Sawgrass tomorrow. Questions over whether defending champion Rory McIlroy is going to be fit. 5 Sports Extra and BBC Sounds will have commentary of rounds 3 and 4 on Saturday and Sunday. Our correspondent Ian Carter is there. So what news on McIlroy then, Ian?
Hello, Steve. Well, I can tell you he has arrived on the property, but only in the last few minutes. There is quite a knot of people hanging around the practice range now, hoping to catch sight of him going out there for presumably what will be some kind of fitness test. Just to recap, he twinged his back in the gym on Saturday. That was ahead of the third round of the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill, and he decided after a few shots on the range down in Orlando to withdraw from that tournament. He said subsequently that it's more stubborn than he initially thought, but he has turned up here, and now we wait to see whether or not he will be teeing it up tomorrow. One of the encouraging things for him, but not for the tournament, is that the weather forecast is pretty poor tomorrow, so that might give him an extra recovery day. He'd obviously love to play this as the defending champion, but the other thing he has to balance is that he's going to be the defending champion at you-know-where next month at Augusta for the Masters, so he won't want to do anything that could put that in jeopardy in terms of aggravating what is clearly a stubborn problem at the moment.
Yeah, Ian, thank you very much. That's our correspondent, Ian Carter. So we'll be back at the Bernabeu for that 8 p.m. kickoff in the Champions League. Real Madrid against Manchester City. We'll keep you up to date with PSG, Chelsea. Loads of really important games in the Championship and League One tonight as well, which kick off at 7:45. In the case of everybody other than Coventry and Preston, that's an 8 o'clock kickoff. So all of that to come. But we've got a second half, first of all, in Bayer Leverkusen and Arsenal to bring you with Matt Upson and Ali Bruceport.
Steve, you know what? Just listening to John Murray in the Bernabeu there, talking about that first 17 minutes last night at the Metropolitano, I will do this. I haven't been able to do it today yet. I want to go back on sounds and listen to that.
Well, you can, Ali.
No, I know, exactly. But I could, as it was happening, so we were watching it, you know, on a screen over here and just couldn't believe our eyes. But I was thinking, it's not the commentary game, so John must be constantly interrupting here. And each time must have been more absolutely flabbergasted at what was going on. So I am going to do that, Steve. I am going to do that.
You should. Enjoy.
I will. Thank you. Second half underway, and Leverkusen straight onto the attack. Cafane lays the ball back to Grimaldo. Chip cross. Header saved by Raya. Tipped over the bar. That was brilliantly worked by Leverkusen. They caught Arsenal out from the kickoff there. It was Terrier's header in the end. He got a glancing head to it, and Raya had to be at full stretch to get that over the bar and behind for a corner.
Well, right from kick-off, Arsenal caught cold, still in the change room, I think. Weren't switched on, played straight through from the kick-off. Lovely cross, brilliant run across the box. And I think it's Terrier, isn't it, with the header. gets up high, glances it, forces Raya into the save.
Leverkusen corner, header in by Andrich. Arsenal undone by a set piece, would you believe it? Right at the start of the second half here in Leverkusen. And it's the skipper, Robert Andrich, who powers the header home, unmarked at the far post, and Arsenal behind in the first leg of this last 16 tie. Bayer Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 0.
Well, what a massive goal. What a poor start to the second half for Arsenal. They've not been switched on since coming out. Gave away the first opportunity within 10-15 seconds. And this corner, they just get undone right at the back post. It's very unlike them. It's a bit of a block going on at the back post, but it's just a simple run. It spins out the back and he comes in late. It's a free header. I mean, probably the most dominant player on the pitch in the air for Leverkusen is arriving at the back post with a scot-free header, and he just powers it down into the bottom. I don't even know where he drifts from there. No, I mean, no one's locking into him at all. They'll be really disappointed with that, Arsenal.
The player who is trying to get closest to him is Eze, who ends up on the floor, and Marza does a bit of a job on Eze there, just puts his body in the way, makes it impossible for Eze to get round. Eze sort of gives up and goes down, and Andrich is totally free.
He just blocks him, doesn't he? But it was too easy, far too easy, and he's a key target, a key header of the ball, and he just peeled out. It wasn't anything discreet, it wasn't an intricate move, he just peeled out to the back post, free header, there you go, 1-0.
Eze's cross in, the header is up in the air from Martinelli, but loops high, softly and harmlessly into the arms of Yanis Blažić. Now this, well, two-legged tie, of course, but Arsenal 1-0 down, home leg to come. You imagine this will bring them out a little bit, try and play with a bit more attacking verve, because I was going to say, just as we kicked off in the second half, it has been very Arsenal of recent times, composed, calm, cautious, compact, but now they find themselves 1-0 down. Andrich with the goal, only his second of the season, and Arsenal have to respond. Saliba's first time pass, side-footed ball to Timber. Saka makes a run infield, Timber looks for him, but the pass wasn't good enough. Leverkusen intercept and bring it away, and here's Marza back down to Grimaldo in the left-back position.
It's a really sloppy pass from Timber, wouldn't it? I mean, it was always going to get cut out. I don't know where he was passing there. And there's 2 or 3 occasions now where that simple 10-yard ball just hasn't got to the destination it should do, and it's really breaking up the rhythm of Arsenal's play, and I'm interested to see how they react here.
Yeah, wondering how soon we might see. We were discussing this off-air at half-time, the likes of Kai Havertz, and you mentioned the name as well, Matt, of Max Daumann, the 16-year-old who's back from injury and does bring something a bit different and fresh and really skillful player. Martinelli's on the ball in the middle of the Leverkusen half. Nkapie was getting up outside him but wasn't free, so Arsenal have played it back. Declan Rice on the halfway line, cross to Timber on the right. Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 0. Arsenal have Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Nkapie, Zubamendi and Rice, Saka, Eze, Martinelli and Gyökeres as the centre forward. Rice plays to his right to Zubamendi. Leverkusen in the black shirts with the red trim, black shorts, black socks, in their defensive shape inside their own half. Arsenal playing from left to right in this second half in the red and white colours, red bodies to the shirts, white sleeves, white shorts, red socks. Saliba, patient as ever from Arsenal, out to Saka, closed down quickly by Grimaldo, makes the challenge, Arsenal throw.
He's had his distance spot on, Grimaldo, hasn't he? He's not given Saka any time on the ball. The moment he receives it, he's already arriving, he's putting the brakes on. He's got exactly the right distance to not allow him down the line, but also to get tight and have a little nibble when he has the ball at his feet. He's done really well so far, the Leverkusen left wing-back.
Just the 3 defeats for Arsenal all season, all in the Premier League. Away to Liverpool early on, the Szoboszlai free kick. Away to Aston Villa, the late winner from Buendia. At home to Manchester United. Terrier has overrun the ball there. Martinelli couldn't quite make the tackle or make it stick for Arsenal, so Leverkusen have it with Jarell Quansah. Their goalkeeper is Yanis Blažić. Quansah, Andrich, the goal scorer and captain in the heart of the 3-man defence. Tapsoba to his left, Poku, Palacios, Garcia, Grimaldo, and then Martin Terrier and Ibrahim Marza in support of the 19-year-old Cameroonian Christian Kafane. who's put up a really good show against Gabriel and Saliba this evening. And Leverkusen, very much the underdogs in the tie, leading 1-0 at home. Just caught Arsenal napping right at the start of this second half. Here's Tapsoba, just inside his own half, central position. Andrich passes to his right, and Garcia brings the ball across the halfway line. 1-2 with Terrier. Slow build-up. Kwanzaa quickens the pace a little. Terrier lays it off to Poku. Garcia again, dummies as if to cross. Back it comes to Palacios, slides it down the inside right channel, intercepted by Martinelli. Forward to Eza, quick clearance by Hincapié, way beyond Gyökeres and into the Leverkusen half. Matt Upson.
Well, it had to be the Hoover with that touch as well, didn't it, at the back post?
He's going to get himself a new nickname now, isn't he?
He is. He is. I mean, he's had an interesting game, and he was very quiet after the 2 early fouls, the booking, and then the second one so early. But he's popped up with a key moment here for Bayer Leverkusen to put them into the lead. Puts them in a great position in this game, because, like you said, you feel like Arsenal are going to have to start to come out a little bit, get a bit higher up the pitch, throw a few more midfield players further forward and just be a bit more advanced.
All the pressure on Arsenal at the moment. We are 7 minutes into the second half and Leverkusen lead 1-0. Next break in play, we'll take you to the Bernabeu. John Murray is waiting with the team news ahead of Real Madrid against Manchester City, commentating on that one tonight alongside former England goalkeeper Paul Robinson. Tapsoba inside his own half, chased by Eza, plays the ball back to his goalkeeper Blažić, one touch with his right foot and then chips one up the middle of the pitch. Kafane will wrestle with Gabriel. It's headed straight up in the air, bounces inside the Arsenal half. Zubimendi leaps, loose ball breaks here nicely to Grimaldo, sprints forward into the Arsenal area, overruns it. Saliba is there, wasn't quite sure what to do, clears it away, not a great clearance, and Leverkusen will come again. And here's Terrier, 25 yards out, plays it to the right to Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa to Poku. Poku up against Hincapié, sways either side of the ball. Hincapié's not falling for that. Singing increasing in volume from the home fans, as you can hear, as Tapsoba gets on the ball inside the Arsenal half, and Arsenal just drop off and wait to see what he's going to do. And there's Robert Andrich, the goal scorer, to Marza, onto Kwanzaa. Poku on the right. Jumps into a space between two Arsenal players, runs across the Arsenal half. Low skiddy pass with the outside of his right boot. Grimaldo's early cross, headed away by Saliba. Drops here to Eza. Chests the ball down, then plays a pass to his right. Timber will have to chase hard here. Sliding challenge from Grimaldo. Goes out for a throw-in to Arsenal. So Real Madrid, Manchester City, full commentary. 8 o'clock kick-off tonight in the Champions League. Here's the team news, John Murray.
And Real Madrid, with all their injuries at the moment, make just one change from their league team last weekend, and that is Howson coming into central defence for Asensio, who is a substitute, as is the returning Camavinga. And that means that 18-year-old Thiago Pittarch starts in midfield for Real Madrid, and also Trent Alexander-Arnold's in the team to play against Manchester City. They make 7 changes, City. This is the side: Donnarumma, Husanov, Diaz, Gay and O'Reilly, Rodri, Bernardo Silva, Semenyo, Savinho, Doku and Erling Haaland. So Mateus Nuñez and Ait Nouri substitutes for this one.
Martinelli with the ball at his feet, up on the edge of the Leverkusen penalty area, was running across the face of the box from left to right, turned, couldn't find a way through. Now Saliba receives it from Zubimendi, quickly to the right to Saka. And Saka up against Grimaldo again. His pass into the penalty area intercepted by Palacios. Palacios gets another foot on the ball, and Leverkusen will play out from a tight spot in their left-back position. Brilliant from Palacios there. Drew the men in, played the ball away, passed down the middle of the pitch, looking for the run of Terrier. He's headed forward to Martinelli, and again Martinelli with a chance to bring the ball forward and goes sideways and back.
Yeah, Palacios brilliant again, defensive instinct, knowing that when Saka's on that ball, he's going to get across, and he reads the touch inside every time. Saka's had no joy in this game at all in the 1v1 situations, and it's mainly due to Palacios' reading of the game.
Here's Gabriel on the ball for Arsenal, middle of the Leverkusen half. Right, Saka's going to get another go. A bit more space to work with here. Brings the ball in from the right-hand touchline. 3 black-shirted defenders surround him. He's lost it to Grimaldo. Grimaldo plays a 1-2 with Palacios again. Tapsoba delays his clearance, put himself under pressure, eventually scoops it away. Poku goes screaming after it. Down the right wing for Leverkusen. Hincapié gets there first. Passes back to Raya. 10 minutes gone in the second half. And Arsenal, the big favourites for the tie, favourites for the competition. I think at the start of the last 16 phase, of course, they would be, having won all 8 games in the league phase. They find themselves 1-0 down. Saka's getting frustrated, tackled again.
He looks like mentally he's having a bit of a dip at the moment. Just not at the races, losing the ball, not sharp enough, making decisions to go, 3 players in front of him, trying to take them all on.
Here's Grimaldo doing a bit of attacking, which he can do exceptionally well for Leverkusen. Runs the ball into the Arsenal half. Opportunity is lost, but he's kept the ball and plays it back to Palacios. And I think Noni Madueke was getting ready down there for Arsenal. So that could be a change coming soon. Leverkusen leading Arsenal 1-0. Let's get a latest on the tennis at Indian Wells from Russell Fuller.
Cameron Norrie's up and running. Ali, he's won the first set by 6 games to 4. Rinky Hijikata, the Australian qualifier, dropping his serve in the opening game of the match, and it cost him 1 game all in the second as they play for a place in the quarterfinals.
Thank you, Russell. Tennis across the Sports Extra channels over the weekend. I noticed from 8:30 on Saturday, Sports Extra 3. 5:55 on Sunday, Sports Extra 2.
Who was it that Cam Norrie was playing again?
I'm going to get it right. Rinky Hijikata.
It just rolled off the tongue of Russell there, didn't it?
It really did. Hincapié to Martinelli. Martinelli's got the speed this time. Past his man, Poku slides in, catches Martinelli. Yellow card just outside the penalty area, that down by the byline. It'll be a free kick for Arsenal. But that is what Arsenal need, an injection of pace, some threat, some danger.
That's what I was just about to say, to be honest. It hasn't been enough in this game of an Arsenal player being positive and aggressive enough from an attacking sense, like making a real positive decision to go at a player. Martinelli does that there with Poku, gets around the outside of him, just about beats him to the ball, and then he has to bring him down right on the edge of the 18-yard box. It's in a wide area on the left-hand side, but commit the defender. No defender likes being ran out like that, and there's not been enough of that from Arsenal tonight.
12 minutes gone in the second half. Madueke waiting to come on for Arsenal. I'm presuming that will be for Saka. It seems the obvious change positionally, but also, as you've been saying, Matt, he's just not had much of an impact, Saka, and he's had plenty of the ball and just not been able to...
Doesn't look quite right.
No, he's been well shackled this evening. Right, Declan Rice is going to take the free kick. This is dangerous for Leverkusen because it's 7-8 yards up from the byline, so he could put some real pace on this into the 6-yard box and maybe even try and whip it in at the near post. 4 Arsenal players gathered at the far post. Gabriel's waiting on the penalty spot. Saka's lurking on the edge of the box, and so is Eze. And we know Eze can strike a ball. We've seen him do it this season, most recently against Mansfield in the FA Cup. Declan Rice hoists his left arm in the air, runs at the ball, delivers with his right foot, curls it in, and it's headed by Hincapié, high and wide and behind for the goal kick. Gabriel complains that should be a corner, but Hincapié couldn't do much with the delivery. I thought that might have more pace on it from Rice, but it was curled in and floated in. Here comes the change for Arsenal. So we are in the 60th minute of the game. We've just ticked over, hour gone, and the Arsenal captain Bukayo Saka, who looked so focused, so fired up before the game, hasn't been his night tonight. He will be replaced by Noni Madueke, who, not only in this competition this season, Matt, at times really has fired for Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, ordinarily you don't see Saka come off the pitch at this time after 60 minutes. Arsenal 1-0 down, he's the captain. But I've just felt like something's not quite right. It's not quite happening for him for whatever reason. And Mikel Arteta's looked at it and thought, right, I'll freshen up that position, and Madueke's on.
Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 0. Half an hour to play in the first leg of this last 16 tie. Leverkusen are going to play out from the back. Andrich, chased by Declan Rice, thumps the ball away with his right foot. Gabriel flicks a header infield. Kafane is there first for Leverkusen. Plays it back into midfield. Wonderful ball from Palacios out to Grimaldo, and Madueke is back there in the right-back position to make the tackle on Grimaldo. Very nearly nutmegged, but got enough on the ball. And it's cleared away by Saliba up towards the halfway line. Eze jumps, barged in the back as he wins the header. Gyökeres, cushion volley pass is a nice one into the path of Madueke, and Madueke is suddenly running at backpedaling Leverkusen defenders. Eze's low cross looking for Gyökeres. Andrich off balance, gets a right foot to it and knocks it behind for an Arsenal corner. Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 0.
Yeah, a bit better, get the ball in the box early. Gyökeres just didn't make the run across the near post, and Andrich was in there right in the middle of the goal just to almost kind of shin the ball behind for a corner. He just catches the top of his foot, but a little bit disappointed Gyökeres didn't really make more of an effort to get across that first defender, because that's where the ball was going to go, right in that channel. It went low across the ground, so he needed to get across the face of him.
First corner of the game, possibly, for Arsenal. They've had the attacking set pieces. Corner-wise, I think this is the first. And we're over an hour into the first leg of this Champions League last 16 time. Madueke will take it from the right. Left-footed delivery. Blažič comes, gets something on it. Miscued header from Garcia. The ball's loose inside the Leverkusen box. Volleyed away. Rice will run back, control it for Arsenal. Couple of touches. Another cross comes in towards the far post. Quansah gets his head on that. Nods it away again for Leverkusen. Eze immediately moves it to the left of Martinelli. Martinelli has Gabriel right beside him, plays it to Gabriel, back it comes to Eze in central midfield, all inside the Leverkusen half. Rice forward to Zubamendi, laid off to Madueke, then Rice again. Rice finds Saliba, careful pass, Zubamendi, that's a late challenge by Palacios. The referee's going to play an advantage for now. Zubamendi's down, step over from Madueke, gets the cross in. Again, Blažič comes, just beats Gyökeres to the ball, punches it away, and then volleyed away by Alex Garcia. And out for a throw-in to Arsenal, and Palacios will get booked for the challenge on Zubamendi. That's probably right.
Yeah, he's not going to get away with that one. He's trying to kind of like shirk over to the other side of the pitch as if he's not there anymore. But I mean, it was a poor tackle from a player that's been excellent for Bayer Leverkusen this evening. He's barely put a foot wrong, but just mistimed that one, missed the ball completely and followed straight through into Zubamendi. But Madueke's brought a little bit of energy. I think he does that well off bench, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You know, no one wants that said about them, that you're a good impact off the bench, because it generally means that a lot of the time you may feature there, but he does bring some energy and a bit of directness that's been lacking.
Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 0. That's the voice of Matt Upson here in the Bayer Arena in Germany. Leverkusen, a small city on the eastern bank of the Rhine. We've got Cologne to the south, Dusseldorf to the north, and this Arsenal team who've won their last 4 games, unbeaten in their last 11, just 1 defeat in the last 24, find themselves 1-0 down. Goal early in the second half from Robert Andrich. The ball is at the feet of Martinelli, beats Poku with ease, crosses in with his left foot, deep to the far post. Madueke wins the header. Gyökeres tries to bring it down and get the shot away. Wouldn't fall for him in time. Leverkusen have cleared. Saliba to Madueke. Timber turns inside the area on the right. Looks for the cutback here. Sliding block by Palacios. Scoops the ball away while he's on the floor. Madueke gives chase. Saliba tries to just nurdle that down the line to Madueke. It's blocked again, goes out for an Arsenal throw.
What a job Palacios has done on this near side. The Bayern left, that midfield, central left-hand side. He has marshalled that every time any wide player has gone. He's in the corner of that 18-yard box. He must have made about 5 interceptions there so far in this game. He's been excellent in reading that.
Martinelli looking more threatening on the left in the second half. Madueke offering the threat on the right. The ball is central at the moment with Gabriel, who's scurrying forward, if a giant centre-back can scurry. Pass to the right to Madueke. Back to Saliba, that's not the right ball, looking for Timber. Pass goes straight to Palacios. Who else? Again in that left-hand sided role. David Raya's up towards the halfway line here. Had to get there first and did. Now he's in trouble. Lobbed effort from Marza. Not enough on that. And Raya is able to go scurrying. He is scurrying back towards his penalty area. The ball bounces twice and he's able to gather and roll it out to Rice.
I mean, it was risky, but he needed to come there because it's that race again between Kofane and Gabriel. And it was over the top, and Kofane was winning that race. He would have got there. So while it looked a bit iffy from David Raya, it was really important he came that high. I mean, he literally intercepted it, 15, 20 yards from the halfway line.
Oh, yeah.
It was that high.
Yeah, Neuer-esque. Just saw another misplaced pass from Eze to Rice. And again, one of those simple 10-yard balls. I've seen it go wrong for Arsenal tonight 5 or 6 times. Just not quite been right at it as they want to be. 1-0 down in the tie. They'll be at home against Leverkusen next Tuesday. Before that, Everton at home on Saturday, 5:30 kickoff. You'll hear that game in full on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. And then a week on Sunday, they will try and win their first major trophy since the FA Cup in 2020. They will be up against Manchester City in the League Cup final Sunday the 22nd of March. Gabriel to Gyökeres, first time pass, doesn't find Zubamendi. Terrier does well, a little bit of keepy-uppy. Now Garcia has the ball, finds Marza. Marza tries to thread one through into the Arsenal penalty area. Arsenal closed ranks. Madueke is able to pass it back to Raya. Raya passes forward with his left foot to Zubamendi, lays it off to Rice, who picks up the pace and goes striding towards the halfway line with the ball at his feet, and then curls a delicious pass into the path of Martinelli. One touch from him, up against Kwanzaa, starts to make ground towards the Leverkusen penalty area. Rice is in support, screaming for the ball. Martinelli holds on to it, and Kwanzaa is just running him away from goal here. Martinelli eventually lays it off to Saliba. Short pass to his right, finds Timber. Good pace from Timber. Gets past Marza, keeps going. Backheel flick, looking for Martinelli, is intercepted. And Leverkusen are able to take the ball and work it up the left-hand side. Garcia, good vision there, just fed a ball infield to Marza. Tapsoba, left-sided centre-back, suddenly finds himself high up the field on the left wing with the ball at his feet. Looks for the run of Kafane. Kafane's got the strength here, the confidence to hold off Saliba, continues to do so. Passes back to Tapsoba, and Leverkusen are playing well.
Right, they're playing out of the full-back position so well tonight. They're just patient, biding their time, waiting for that, to draw an Arsenal player, then just pop it down the line or inside the pitch. They're selecting the right pass 85-90% of the time, which I think that is the difference in this game. Arsenal aren't quite hitting those kind of numbers, and Bayer Leverkusen are more consistent with the ball at the moment. They're looking pretty comfortable.
Quarter of this first leg to go. Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 0. Leverkusen have only lost one of their last 7 games against English teams in European competition. They went to Anfield in the league phase last season, got thumped 4-0. Otherwise unbeaten in the other 6. Kafane on the turn, flicks it out to Poco on the right, lays it back here. Garcia's there, crosses in. Danger inside the Arsenal penalty area. The ball hit the back of Zubamendi, fell to Ezra, and then suddenly Madueke goes streaking away, across the halfway line. Defenders splayed everywhere here. Eventually he lays the ball off to the right to Gyökeres. Madueke continues his run into the penalty area, gets to that ball, and then the cross is straight at the keeper, standing at the near post, and Blažić catches it and says thank you very much.
And now he is gasping for breath, because that was a long run. He's gone all the way from the right back position inside the pitch into the box and then back out again. He's just jogging back into his position. But he's showing a bit of energy and drive, isn't he? Like when he gets the ball, he's actually running with it and committing players.
Mikel Arteta looks puzzled on the side of the pitch at the moment. Can't quite work it out. Why it's not clicking for Arsenal. 1-0 down. Foul by Zubamendi on Marza inside the Leverkusen half. That is the latest yellow card in the game. It goes to the Spaniard.
I'm right in saying he wins the ball there. Or am I not? Let's have a little look at the replay. Clearly wins the ball.
Yeah. And then pulls his foot out as if to try and not make contact.
How on earth can you make that tackle any other way? The whole follow-through thing that you see a lot in the European match with the referees, I just think they're miles off it in terms of reading what that is. Okay, there is contact, but player's back up on his feet, he's had a bit of a bump on the shin, and it's just a tackle, isn't it?
Yep.
It's a consequence of somebody trying to win the ball, and not only is he given a foul, he's given a yellow card. That's unbelievable.
Just over 20 minutes to play in this first leg here in Germany. Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 0. All the Champions League highlights on Match of the Day tonight, BBC One 10:40, also available on the BBC iPlayer. Arsenal will not want to concede a second here. Marza on the dribble, just outside the penalty area on the left, back to Grimaldo. Grimaldo's 1-2 here with Palacios. Palacios still with energy to burn, making those runs forward, getting involved in the attacking play, and Leverkusen have come back to Andrich. Across it goes here to Alex Garcia, the right-hand side of midfield, inside the Arsenal half. Still the closest Arsenal have come in this game, the Martinelli shot first half, which came back off the crossbar. Here's Leverkusen's goalscorer, Andrich, who's got that pass wrong, way too much on it down the right, and it's gone behind for the goal kick.
He showed a little bit with the ball, though, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Andrich, he's surprised me. He's not just like an enforcer, like looking to edit and...
Not just a vacuum cleaner.
No,
he does other jobs around the house.
He's actually been pretty useful with the ball. He's been very composed, passed out from the back.
Yeah.
He's done all right. He's had a real impact on the game.
Yeah, I mean, he was the starting defensive midfielder for the national team at Euro 2024. Has been in squads recently, not the last one as well. But huge, dominant figure here at Leverkusen. One of those players in Xabi Alonso's squad that did the double. Won that first ever league title for the club back in 2024. And when you walk into this stadium and come up to the media centre, the walls, I mean, as you'd expect, they're absolutely plastered with pictures of the celebrations and the final game and the trophy lift and the open top, bus parade. But quite right too. Great achievement. Kai Havertz waiting to come on for Arsenal.
Yeah, it was a big deal here locally, wasn't it? For a place of this size to achieve that was some feat.
Did the double and actually lost the Europa League final to Atalanta. Lost 3-0 in Dublin. Lookman with the hat-trick were going for the treble, but stopped in their tracks. So Kai Havertz will come on, and I'm sure he will get a rapturous reception from the Leverkusen fans here. Joined the club as an 11-year-old, spoke really fondly about his connection to the club, his time here, moving away from home and the family to get started here in his professional football career. Left at the age of 21, made a load of money for this football club, and they've gone on to great success. But he will come on in the colours of Arsenal and try and get them back in this game. Zubamendi's pass forward to Rice, back to goal. Edge of the Leverkusen box, all the black shirts behind the ball. Madueke gets it on the right, stops it with the studs of his left boot, dummies a pass, then finds Rice.
This is that creativity area where I said about Odegaard earlier on. Like, somebody been able to find a pass to break this down. It's just not happening for Arsenal in that area of the pitch.
Madueke brings it in from the right-hand side, running across the face of the penalty area, slides the pass to Martinelli. Martinelli, corner of the box on the left. Wide it goes, bless you, to Hincapié. Hincapié to Eze, a couple of neat touches, but again being followed here by Kwanzaa, forced away from goal, past to Saliba, nearly didn't get there. Saliba did well to keep the ball. Short pass to his left to Madueke, across to Rice in a central position. They're trying everything here, Arsenal, but everywhere they look, the gaps are closing and they just can't find the way through. Timber stabs the ball back to Saliba, across to Rice, driving run up to the edge of the box, played to Hincapié, thought about the shot, feeds it to Martinelli instead. Martinelli heads for the byline, cross comes in, and it's over the head of Gyökeres, who half jumped but knew he wasn't going to get there, so let the ball clear him. Timber collects it the other side, slight deflection on the cross, and Blažić is able to stoop and grab that ball on the half volley. 17 minutes plus added time remaining. Bayer Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 0. They'll be frustrated they haven't been able to find a way through. They'll be so annoyed, Matt, at the way they conceded the goal. They just weren't on it, were they, at the start of the second half?
Started the second half completely cold from the chance that led to the corner and then the setup of the corner. And they've paid the ultimate price.
Malik Tillman, American international, is coming on to replace Ibrahim Marza for Bayer Leverkusen. You might recognise the name, once on loan to Rangers back in 22-23. He's won a couple of titles in the Eredivisie at PSV, joined Leverkusen from there. Gyökeres off, Havertz on. That is the change for Arsenal. So Havertz, you imagine, the furthest forward. He's the kind of player as well that could make a difference here, Matt, you think, don't you? He just finds those spaces and has that ability to break a game, doesn't he?
Yeah, and in the box, anything in the air, attacking the ball in the box. I think he does read it and make those runs really well. Gets a nice little reception as well, didn't he? Little kind of round of applause from the home fans there, Kai Havertz.
Yeah, big moment for Kai Havertz. The family are here tonight. He was asked yesterday in the press conference whether he'd been able to get all the tickets he needed for the game, and he said he could. Delighted to be back from injury, and also made the point he does feel he is fully fit and raring to go for Arsenal again. Mikel Arteta made that point too, but decided not to start him in the game tonight. Andrich is down hurt, flat on his back. Leverkusen still playing here with the ball. Kwanzaa now will stop the game. The referee realises that, so we get a stoppage in play. 15 minutes to play. Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 0, and coming your way here on 5 Live at 8 o'clock tonight, Real Madrid against Manchester City. What a trip to Madrid that has been for Mr. John Murray and Mr. Paul Robinson. I mean, that last night, Matt, we watched just mouths agape, didn't we, at what was going on.
I mean, I think I kind of wandered off for a couple of minutes, came back, and it was 2 goals had gone.
I know.
It's just you blink and you kind of the score went from 1-0 to 3-0.
And I always think as well, I mean, I think John's been doing the job for 30 years now for the BBC. It amazes me there are still things you've never seen in football. After all that time, stuff happens that amazes you. Raya, oh, that's a good ball with his right foot. Scything pass across the left-hand side, and striding forward is Hincapié. Hincapié to Rice. Time running out for Arsenal tonight. Second leg to come next week, but they are trailing by 1-0, and they'd certainly love to take it back at least level next week, because Leverkusen, if they play like they have done tonight, they will make life really awkward for Arsenal, who are struggling to find that cutting edge. That's a clever ball to Timber, though, from Zubimendi. Timber looking for the cross to the far post for Havertz. That was blocked. Leverkusen passing out. Here's Tillman. First touch. Lovely one as well. Releases Kafane. Terrier's making a run in the middle. Kafane might not need him. Drifts in field, trying to get it onto the right foot. Leaves it now, and Garcia's shot is high, well off target and behind the goal into those Leverkusen fans. Goal kick for Arsenal.
Right, it's another good breakaway, and he's not stopped running all evening. Kafane, the 19-year-old, led the line by himself. He's done a brilliant job for his team. I'd just like to see him go onto his left side a bit more every single time he comes inside the pitch, and he's quick enough to almost feint that one and then go down the line and really commit the defender. Then you've either got a shot option or you're cutting the ball back for arriving big players into the middle of the 18-yard box. But another good breakaway. They've passed the ball out from the back brilliantly. They've just been really measured and patient with the ball.
Mikel Arteta, of course, made the point last night. 8 wins out of 8 in the league phase, which is all well and good. It's, you know, you get yourself top of the table, and it does help you later in the competition. You miss that playoff round and get to play all those second legs at home, but it's knockout football now, and Arsenal are behind, and Madueke is on the dribble, and they've had to double up on him, and Tillman gets a touch on the ball, and Arsenal have won a corner, which they will be absolutely delighted about. It will be taken right in front of the travelling section of Arsenal fans, and it feels like one of those nights it's going to be the best chance to score a goal. They've not had many of them tonight.
No, Leverkusen have not put a foot wrong defensively, have they? They've dealt with everything. They've got bodies back in position. They look to be handling anything that Arsenal are throwing at them, and they haven't really tested them much with these corners. So there's an opportunity with this left-footed in-swinger from Madueke.
Madueke delivering that from the right. Here it comes, headed away by Tapsoba. Eza lets the ball drop over his left shoulder. It runs to Rice. Rice side-foots it carefully to Madueke on the right. Dummies across with the left foot. Now onto his right foot. Stands it up to the far post. Glancing header from Zubimendi. The ball runs to Gabriel. He toes it back to Martinelli. Martinelli's moving away from goal. Now he puts it into forward gear. Wide on the left. Gabriel's there in support. Passes back to him. Now to Rice. Rice is 40 yards from goal. Good ball forward to Timber. Timber lays it off to Saliba. He passes to his right and finds Madueke, and Madueke has stopped and sizes up his opposition here. Grimaldo drops the left shoulder, thinks about the cross with the left foot, back to Saliba, across to Rice. 12 minutes plus added time remaining. Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 0. Now Martinelli. Bit of momentum here just outside the area, crossing towards the near post. Kwanzaa is there and heads it away for Leverkusen, and Zubimendi is off balance as he leaps and wins a header. He wins the free kick. It's the Leverkusen player who's down hurt, but it was one of those where I think the Leverkusen player barges Zubimendi when he's mid-air. They both fall awkwardly. Yeah, he's not playing the ball, is he? Terrier.
No, it's Terrier. Just doesn't play the ball, kind of shunts his hip and shoulder into Zubimendi's waist as he's up in the air, and they're quite dangerous, those, because it knocks your feet from underneath you, end up landing on your shoulder.
Totally different sport, obviously. In rugby union, that you can't take someone out mid-air. That's a yellow card in 10 minutes off the field. It was that sort of challenge, and the refs called that right, even though Terrier was the one who went down. Declan Rice, forehead wreathed with sweat. Gabriel Jesus waiting to come on for Arsenal. Free kick, they're trailing 1-0. Can they score from the set piece? Rice's delivery into the box. Oh, it nearly found Havertz. The ball is loose. It falls to a Leverkusen player, and they might turn this into a counter-attack. And Grimaldo's looking to get away down the left. Hooks one up in the air. The ball comes back to Grimaldo. Right-footed pass. Martinelli sees the danger, comes racing back for Arsenal. finds Rice with his pass, and Rice, suddenly the pressure drops because Leverkusen back off, and Rice will drill this ball from deep inside his own half. He's looking for the rangy run of Havertz, who's been caught offside. It'll be a free kick. Leverkusen. We're into the last 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah, they've got 10 minutes to make something happen and take possibly a draw back to the Emirates, which at this point would be a real result for Arsenal. It's not been a brilliant away performance, and a draw would be a cracking result at this point.
So Terrier is coming off. He will be replaced by Ezekiel Fernandez, and Jonas Hoffmann will also be coming on, the 33-year-old German, one of the double winners under Xabi Alonso. He will also be coming on for Leverkusen, as Palacios coming off. I mean, just from listening to you tonight, Matt, I think our listeners who've listened to the entire game tonight will probably feel that if there was some man of the match award to be handed out in the Bayer Arena this evening, it might go to Palacios.
He'd be right up there, yeah, I think he would. I think he's been superb, just gone about his business, been really efficient. He's had a top game.
Jesus on, Eza off for Arsenal. Shot of Eza breathing heavily, sitting on the Arsenal bench. 8 minutes plus added time remaining. Full commentary of Real Madrid against Manchester City on the way. Champions League highlights, match of the day, BBC One at 10:40 tonight as well. And all the reaction in the Football Daily podcast, which will be there for you later tonight. And of course, first thing tomorrow morning, if that's the way you do it, and listening to the Football Daily app. Football Daily podcast on the BBC Sounds app. That will be there for you as well. The latest FPL pod from BBC Sport went live today as well, if you're into your fantasy football. Now, in the meantime, free kick conceded by Arsenal. Saliba looks dumbfounded by that, but Leverkusen have a chance to get the ball now into the Arsenal penalty area late in the game and leading 1-0.
Yeah, just a bit of shirt grabbing, but it's not meaningful shirt grabbing, it's just contact. And I think the referee's just got a bit kind of muddled with that, saw the hand of the shirt, just giving a foul.
Garcia's delivery with the right foot swinging into the far post beats everyone. Andrish having a really good tussle there with Hincapié. Hincapié enjoys the physical side of the game, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to back down in the face of the vacuum cleaner, is he?
No, the Dyson is going to get to him first, isn't it? But I think that's a feature of Hincapié that Mikel Arteta really likes.
Yeah.
You know, you might lose a bit of that flowing, going forwards with the ball and overlapping, and he's not a fullback that's going to produce much of that, but he's quick, he's physical, he's good in the air, he's very reliable in what he does, and he does a good job in that left-back position.
He's combative, and of course he's on loan to Arsenal from Leverkusen. Cross from Martinelli, Timbers there with a header over the bar. Leapt well, just wouldn't come down for him in time, and he couldn't guide the header underneath the crossbar. Late chance for Arsenal, they still trail 1-0.
Yeah, if that's a player of Kai Havertz's stature, I think he's getting over the top of this ball and heading it in the back of the net. I think it'd be 1-1. It's just Timber arrives in the back post, he can't get up high enough. He has a bit of a jump, but he's just bumped in the air. Can't get over the ball and heads it a foot over the crossbar. It's a really good chance. One of the few really good crosses that's come into the box.
6 minutes plus added time remaining. Arsenal heading for first Champions League defeat of the season, having won 8 out of 8 in the league phase, and only a 4th defeat of the season all told. Not coming at a great time, but still time to turn it around in the second leg at the Emirates Stadium next week. Saliba, again Kafane, making it really awkward for him. This time Kafane's got hold of Saliba's shirt, and that'll be a free kick to Arsenal. You can hear the reaction that has got inside the stadium from the home fans.
Yeah, he's really punched his weight, hasn't he? The young man for his team. He's done very well. He's occupied Gabriel and Saliba pretty much all night. They've found it difficult to compete with him. Yes, they've got the better of him a lot of the time, but that's going to happen when you're 2v1 in that situation. But he's done a really good job.
Leverkusen not had to use Patrick Schick this evening. Could well be available for the second leg. Madueke making ground down the right. Havertz has dropped deep now. Jesus playing the centre forward. Havertz caresses a pass to Gabriel. He curls one out to the left wing to Martinelli. Martinelli's got defenders backing off. Plays it back to Rice. Rice with a low ball into the penalty area. Could have gone anywhere, that. Cleared. Tillman with a second clearance. That crosses the halfway line. Only player inside the Arsenal half is David Raya. He goes racing up to the halfway line to get that. Finds Gabriel. Gabriel lofts one out to Madueke on the right. He controls it and feeds it back to Saliba. Forward into the midfield to Havertz, who's trying to pull the strings now from that slightly deeper position. Madueke takes Tillman on the outside. Great run into the penalty area, goes tumbling down, and the referee points to the penalty spot. And Arsenal have a lifeline with 5 minutes to play. Madueke zipping into the penalty area between two defenders. They've not been able to deal with him. Robert Andrich, the Leverkusen captain, complains furiously here. VAR will have a look now.
They will have a look, and I'll be keen to see the replay. It stems from Madueke doing what he's done since coming on the pitch, which is just drive and run at players. I'm looking at the replay. There is contact with the underside of the foot, but then I feel like Madueke goes down a bit falsely. I think there's contact, and I think there's enough for VAR to go, we're going to stay out of this.
I think you're right, Matt. I think Tillman has dangled a leg. Yeah. He's dangled it there. He didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
Madueke...
He's kicked into the back of it.
That's right, he's kicked into the back of that leg.
But then had a stride.
And then had a stride. Could have kept going, but the chance went away. So then goes down. There is contact in the penalty. Was it enough to knock him over?
I just don't think they're going to...
change it.
No, I think to say that's a clear and obvious error for VAR to actually intervene would be unusual.
Yes.
Certainly in Europe for that kind of penalty.
Now I'm wondering who's going to take the penalty as well. Yeah, he's pointed to the spot, the referee.
Yeah.
Decision has been confirmed. Rob Dieprink of the Netherlands is the VAR, the video assistant referee, but it says check over on our screen. So here we are in the 88th minute of the game. Arsenal not being great tonight, but Madueke has come on, replaced Saka and won the penalty. Kai Havertz could take a penalty at his former club to get the equaliser, and Havertz comes forward and takes the ball. So this is the storyline for tonight. The hometown hero against his childhood club, who he spoke so fondly of yesterday in his time here, has a chance to strike a blow for Arsenal, and I think if Arsenal get out of here 1-1, they will take that all night long. So here we go. Goalkeeper Yanis Blažić is marched back towards his goal line. Arsenal have had 5 penalties so far this season. Gyökeres now off the field has scored a couple of those. Saka now off the field has scored a couple of those. Madueke with the only miss. Havertz yet to take one this season. And this is one of those moments he has got to shut everything out and just concentrate on the technique of taking a penalty.
He does look calm, doesn't he? In fairness to him, he looks very focused, Kai Havertz here.
Closed his eyes, deep breath, hands on hips. Havertz against his childhood club. Stares at the goalkeeper. He's waiting for the referee's whistle. It's taken a while. Now in the 89th minute of the game, Kai Havertz has about a 5-yard run here to the ball. Blažić waits on the goal line. Referee's blown the whistle. One last deep breath. Havertz runs to the ball, delays, finds the bottom corner. The keeper, Blažić, goes the right way. Havertz doesn't fully celebrate that, but he knows exactly what that goal means for Arsenal. It has got them out of jail in Germany tonight. It is Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 1, and Mikel Arteta immediately is screaming to the Arsenal players to get back and concentrate and switch on.
He is intense in that technical area at the moment, is he? Getting onto the players, tapping to the side of his head as if to say, really dial in now. We've got the goal, going to get ourselves out of jail here a little bit. Fair play to Kai Havertz, because I think Blažić did a great job of just trying to delay that penalty. All of a sudden he needed to tap his studs on the post. He was faffing about in the corner of the goal, trying to unsettle Havertz in front of the penalty, but he just maintained real calm, focus, stroked it low. Blažić went the right way, but couldn't get down quick enough. It was right along the ground, low and into the corner. Good penalty, and well played, Noni Madueke, for just showing a bit of, I'm going to drive, make a decision, commit a player. I think he's done that really well since coming on. It's made the difference for Arsenal.
Yeah, it shows the strength of the Arsenal bench in full effect as well. Madueke winning the penalty, Havertz sticking it away. Arsenal fans away to our right. A red flare has been lit and smoke is billowing away and just rolling off the underneath of the roof of this Bayer Arena, which as you approach from the outside actually looks like a giant trampoline, the big white metalwork which circles the top of this stadium. 3 minutes of added time at the end of the game. Huge blow for Leverkusen that. They played really well tonight, but now they've got to go to North London next week. and it looks like they're going to go their level. We've got full commentary of Real Madrid, Manchester City on the way on 5 Live and BBC Sounds tonight, but the chances have been few and far between for Arsenal. Martinelli's shot against the crossbar. Leverkusen have really stifled Mikel Arteta's team, but Madueke's bit of brilliance won the penalty. Havertz stuck it away, and there's your headline. Havertz scores against Leverkusen.
Yeah, both goals, set plays as well.
Yeah.
You know, you just knew it wasn't going to be a free-flowing goal fest tonight at all. It's been an interesting game for different reasons, but not a shock that both goals have come from set pieces.
Tapsoba with the throw. That's Matt Upson watching the closing stages here in the Bayer Arena of Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 1. Paul Robinson, former England international, will be with John Murray in the Bernabeu for Real Madrid against Manchester City tonight. And as I mentioned in the first half, a weekend of fabulous sport on the way. 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the Sports Extra streams. Six Nations Rugby, Premier League football, Chinese Grand Prix, 7 o'clock on Sunday morning. Commentary of the Players' Golf Championship from Sawgrass, the tennis at Indian Wells. The next 2 days, the Cheltenham Festival on Sports Extra from 2 o'clock tomorrow and Friday, which is Gold Cup Day, as David Raya takes the goal kick for Arsenal, drills it long downfield. Arsenal have won themselves a throw. We've got a minute of added time remaining in this game, and the smoke really has made its way from underneath the roof of the stadium here, drifting across the pitch, and Arsenal have won a late corner.
Yeah, and it's a big opportunity. The Arsenal fans all of a sudden saw it go out for a corner and gone up another gear, thinking, right, could actually take a win away with us if this delivery comes in from Rice. You've got Havertz in the box, Gabriel looking really meaningful, I don't know who's having a go at there, but shouting at his teammates. Like, this is a big moment for Arsenal.
Yeah, bevy of red and white shirted players buzzing around inside the Leverkusen penalty area. Gabriel trying to shake off his marker. Corner will come in from the left wing. Pretty much the last action of the game on the way here. This would be a proper smash and grab if Arsenal managed to nick it and score late, but you wouldn't bet against them from the corner. Havertz getting involved in a push and shove with the goalkeeper, Blažič as well. Corner, and it comes now from Rice. Pace on that ball, no whistles blowing. Referee spotted something before it was taken. What's he decided here? Pointing at a few players, calling someone out to give them a yellow card. Is it goalkeeper Blažič?
He's got the yellow card out again.
For someone.
I don't know what that's for.
Havertz has been booked.
Havertz has turned away and put his head in his hands. He's not doing anything, he's just standing there.
Yeah.
Havertz is just standing there. How has he got a yellow card?
Grimaldo's half a foot smaller, isn't he? And he's trying to hold on to Havertz. You're right, Havertz.
And they've got to defend another corner now.
Here it comes from Declan Rice, in from the left-hand side, whip to the far post. Header from Jesus. Blocked on the line, that, and the referee spotted an infringement in there. So that is going to be a free kick to Leverkusen. Have to have a look on the replay what happened there. I thought it might be a late winner from Jesus.
I'm not sure the referee's coping with these set play. I mean, I will say, we're so used to the Premier League contact of players running around goalkeepers that when you then play in Europe, they're just not quite used to it. And it can, obviously, it's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot of activity, a lot of bustling and shoving in the box.
Well, there we go. It's finished. Bayer Leverkusen 1, Arsenal 1 tonight. Kai Havertz has scored against his hometown club with a late penalty to take it level to the Emirates Stadium next week, when once again Arsenal will start the favourites. But it was one of those performances again from Arsenal tonight. It didn't fully flow. Martinelli hit the crossbar in the first half. They were dozy at the start of the second half. Andrich got the goal from the set piece, and after that Arsenal was struggling to find a way through. Madueke came on for Saka. He did make a difference. Martinelli looked dangerous, more dangerous on the left in the second half, Matt, and it was Madueke's skill and then Havertz's coolness under pressure that saw it finish 1-1.
Yeah, I just thought it was the skill and the ability to go past people, but it was more his mentality and decision making. When he came on, Madueke, he was just direct. It was quick. It wasn't complicated. He's right, I'm just going to go at you, and he won a penalty doing that, and that has got Arsenal in a much better situation because the performance wasn't great. It wasn't a massive spectacle of a game. They've got an opportunity at 1-1 to go back to the Emirates and a really good chance to go through.
Yeah, it's a pensive Mikel Arteta who's going marching across the pitch at the moment to thank the Arsenal fans for their support. Still unbeaten in the Champions League this season, still only 3 defeats in the entire season. Might feel they slightly got away with one this evening. Next week, this tie will start at 1-1 at the Emirates next Tuesday night, Steve.
Yeah, it sort of feels like a bit of a weary challenge at the end has helped them get out of jail to an extent, Matt.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, I think it's just Madueke driving in the box and a decision to go to ground. If you don't win the ball, there's contact there, and I think Madueke makes the most of it, like we've discussed. But he's probably entitled to go down, shall I say? And the VAR's never going to overturn that decision, and it's an important situation that Madueke's won for Arsenal, because they were going home 1-0 down, Steve. I don't think they were going to make that breakthrough. And so it's been a really impactful moment.
I wonder if also, Matt, it's almost a great sort of description of the discussion we were having earlier about Arsenal and weariness, in that when they're in that position, they have players on the bench who can come on and make an impact. And actually, just focusing in on Madueke, he was great at Mansfield the other day. So if you can play like this in all situations, in all competitions, such a big asset.
Yeah, I think he does that better than anyone in the Arsenal squad, to be honest. And like I said to Ali, which isn't great for him, because you don't want to be known as the player that's great and energetic coming off the bench. You want to be starting all the time. But I thought the decision to take Saka off is never an easy one. He's the captain and he's their top player. But he just had a funny 5-minute spell before being subbed where he just looked really lost of ideas, like the game was on top of him. And it was quite a bold substitution from Mikel Arteta, but it was necessary, I thought, and he made it, and Arsenal have kind of got the benefit from that.
I was impressed with Leverkusen tonight, Steve. I thought they played. I mean, Matt picked out some of the individuals, but the likes of Kafane as the centre forward. I mean, we were saying in the first half, weren't we, Matt? You're up against the best defence in the world there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say ran them ragged, but gave them a real game, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He was excellent.
Palacios in midfield. Yeah, they were good, Steve. So, that's not a formality next week.
No, absolutely not. 1-1 then, full-time at the Bayer Arena. Ali Bruce Ball and Matt Upson there. Thank you very much, fellas. You will get more from them on the Football Daily podcast, and we should get some more reaction to you after 10 o'clock tonight as well. We'll be in the press conference there, so hopefully we should be able to hear, I would have thought, from Mikel Arteta at least. So that is the first of our Champions League commentaries. More to come. Before we get into that, we have a quarter-finalist at Indian Wells, Russell Fuller.
His name is Cameron Norrie. The champion in 2021 has beaten the Australian qualifier Rinki Hijikata 6-4, 6-2, breaking in the first game of the match and then running away with it towards the end by winning the last 5 games. Could play Carlos Alcaraz in the last 8, Steve, and there's Jack Draper and Sonny Cartel still to come in the next few hours.
And in the next 20 minutes, we will be underway in Real Madrid versus Manchester City in the Bernabeu. Paris Saint-Germain against Chelsea as well in the Champions League. We'll be bringing you full commentary of City at Real Madrid. We'll keep you up to date with events at the Parc des Princes and also with Bodo Glimt. They're a great Champions League story against Sporting Club de Portugal. There's 2 games in League One and we're at 4 games in the Championship as well. So we'll bounce around all of that before kick-off in Spain, all after the news on 5 Live with Stuart Clarkson.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The government says newly released files about the appointment of Lord Mandelson as ambassador to the US show the due diligence process fell short of what is